That was horrible.
Hello? Derek, do you want to, should we go check that? Derek? Derek, okay, hold on just a minute. I just gotta, oh gosh, picked a bad night to wear my silk robe. It's all slipping off of my body. I'm coming. Okay.
Hey, yo, is Tamara here?
Sorry, you must. This is a podcast studio. I don't know anyone named Tamara.
Is Tamara here?
I think Tamara might be the next one over. Actually,
where's Tamara?
She's not here. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Who are you? I'm Tamara.
Wait,
I was looking all around for y'all.
Tamara.
Hey,
sorry,
me.
of Tamara fame.
Of Tamara fame.
This young someone is looking for you here.
Oh, hello, gentlemen. Oh, hi, Tamara. I thought that you would not exist, but you are right here. Hello, it's me, Tamara. I'm a fictional character in a movie, and I don't exist.
Tamara, how did you get in here?
Do you not want to ask me questions about the fact that I don't exist?
You just no, that's fine. You cannot exist. How
Thank
did you get inside of here? Did you?
What?
Did Derek put you on as a guest special? Like I don't
know where I
am.
We're in a cabin in the woods, a la Evil Dead.
A la Evil Dead. Like, yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're here in a studio. Do you want to
Are you going to interview me? Because I was here for an interview.
Sure, yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's that. You're here for an interview.
Yeah,
then,
my
right?
name's Tamara.
Dude,
I don't know who this bitch little kid is.
Who hired you? Are you going to kick him out?
Yeah, he's gone.
Should we shut? Okay. Okay, so
I
welcome.
see that you're on the spot.
Well,
here.
a little.
And
I'm sorry.
Being
Just
Tamara
a little on the spot.
makes it really hard for people to understand.
Now,
God,
do you understand God? Is that what you're selling?
do you have questions for me?
Have you seen God, Tamara?
3 times. Each time, different gender.
Really?
Yeah, I
Interesting.
expect the next one will be a different gender as well.
On the first night,
There's a lot of those.
he saw you. On the second night, he spoke to you, and on the
That's true.
third night,
Oh, we don't talk about.
we don't talk about the third night.
He came as Bruno.
We don't talk
No,
about.
so we don't talk
Bruno.
about it.
But we do talk about Tamara, apparently.
But why?
But why? That's what. So what do you bring to the podcast?
Okay,
here?
let me tell you what I bring to the podcast. I bring confusion, I bring security, I bring elasticity, and I bring tightness.
So were you? Did you happen to play Elastigirl in the Incredibles movies?
How did you know?
I just
Is
I
that
had
on
a
my
hunch.
resume? It might be.
Are you asking me what's on
Yeah.
your
Well,
resume?
you wrote it.
I wrote no.
Yeah.
I can't. My whole brain is fried right now.
My name is Tamara Gaslighter.
Tamara Gaslighter.
I am not in the room with you.
It's me. I'm alone.
I am God.
I'm sitting and staring. Are you? So you're God.
Look
Does that
into
make
my
this
eyes.
the third night or the fourth night? What happens on the fourth night?
Oh, we don't talk about the Fortnite.
No, we just sit together and play Fortnite. Actually, that's what happens on the fourth.
Hey, it's pretty good. Now, why is this bit happening?
Well, you see, the thing is, it's a bit strange to me personally.
Oh,
You're a bit Yes, thank you. It's a bit of a stranger bit for us. It's very strange for
Chapter
Derek
1.
to show. Did you say chapter 1 or Tamara 1?
Either one. I did say chapter, but we could go out on a limb and like a tree and say chapter 1.
It's strange. It's strange. Tamara 1.
The guy that I kicked out, his name was Derek, and he was a podcast host.
Right. So this is
I
our
am taking
podcast
his
here.
spot.
So if you're going to take a spot here, Tamara, do you want to help me introduce this thing here?
Yep. So this is a podcast we called That Was
Horrible.
Tamarable.
That was Tamarable. Okay, welcome to our Tamara takeover today on our podcast.
Check me out on Instagram at That Was Tamarable.
Do you have to go and make that Instagram right away?
I really do.
So yes, this is That Was Tamarable, where we watch we do our
watch
best.
really good movies about Tamara.
We do our best at reviewing the worst Tamaras.
All of them are bad.
All of them, yeah.
I've met 3 Tamaras other than myself, and all of them are bad.
You've got this trend of 3s in your life, you know?
It's God told me that there were 3 of him.
3 is a holy
and
number.
Each one was a different gender, and I said, okay, that's very open, and I love that for you.
We love that, yeah.
Gave them a kiss right on the mouth. It was glorious.
Oh,
you ever
wow.
kiss God?
Not me personally.
Well, you got to get on that, because let me tell you, when you kiss God, you see stars. And when you see stars, you see the moon. And when you see the moon, Tamara's there.
And when Tamara's there, you give a mouse a cookie.
So in in The Strangers Chapter 1,
That's
which is the
right.
movie you guys saw.
That is the
I
one that- yes,
personally
you nailed
haven't
it.
seen that movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I do know there is a moment in the movie where someone asks for Tamara, and Tamara never shows up.
You watched the trailer, really. So you said, I'm going to hop in here and show up, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to end the stigma around Tamara's not showing up to things.
And it really bothered me when I was sitting there on my little love seat and I was watching me some Tubes. I was watching X-Men 97.
Okay, wonderful. Good stuff.
Just the first one that came to my head. And let me tell you, I was sitting there and I got a phone call and it was from God. And he
Ring,
said,
ring, ring, ring.
"Hello, it is me, God." And I said, "Hello, God." And
Does he sound
said,
just
"Hello,
like
God."
you?
He is me. And
right. We
God
have
is all of us.
Sorry.
And and he said, Tamara. And I said, God. And he said, listen, this movie, The Strangers Part 1, it really ruined Tamara for me. And I said, God, you are Tamara. And it was just the most confusing
God, you are
conversation.
Tamara, and it is me. We are Tamara.
We are
Tamara.
So anyway.
And we're always home, and we're never home at the same time.
You know that movie Waiting for Godot?
Godot, or Waiting for Guffman?
Or Iceman Cometh?
Or Waiting for Guillermo, or Waiting for Groucho Marx. I'm trying to give other names.
There's a lot of them. Anyway, this movie was basically waiting for Tamara.
So just the whole, that's what you got out of this movie.
Yep.
You were sitting there waiting and like, when's this Tamara character going to come back?
Because multiple times through this film, they say that. Anyway,
that's not a lie. That is a real thing that happens.
I do see Derek coming up down the drive, and I think I should probably give his seat back,
Derek,
even though
Derek,
he doesn't want to
help. Derek,
What?
Derek, come.
Were we recording at 10:30?
Just get over here.
Okay. Who the hell are you? Oh, hi there. It's me, God. I will be out of here in just a couple moments.
This is mostly just fun for me to listen to Derek talk to himself.
I'm not talking to anybody but God. Anyway, so Derek, I appreciate you coming into the studio today. We got a few questions for you. Okay, what?
We're interviewing Derek now.
Why would we I'm normally part of this podcast.
Yeah, Derek.
Well,
did you let her in? Look, what? How did she?
I'm here. I don't understand why. I can hear everything you're saying.
You're right, because you're here and also not here at the same time.
But also, I'm God.
You're
so
here,
I know
you're
when you're
not
asleep.
here. You're Tamara. You're
know,
God.
I know when you're happy. I know when you're awake. I know when you're showering.
Tamara,
I know when you're committing sins of the flesh.
Tamara, are you Santa
I am
Claus?
God. God is Santa Claus. Santa Claus is Tamara. Tamara is God.
We are Tamara. We are all one with
This
Tamara.
cold open has officially become a full bit. This is no longer a cold open.
So no, continue then. So you had some Tamara, you had some questions for Derek. You were going to interview him.
I didn't have any. Don't put me on the spot. All right, Derek, my one and only question. Would you like to take back over the podcast?
Please say yes.
Actually,
Please,
I think you're doing a
please,
great job.
Derek, please.
Are you
please.
sure?
Derek.
I think we can live in this space
Derek,
for a
please
whole
say yes.
hour. Are you sure? Let us know via email if you would like more Tamara.
We're gonna have a
All
whole
right,
advice panel. That was Tamarable.
My God!
What is your, as God, as Santa, as Tamara? What is your
All
advice
of
to
the
the
above.
people?
Tamarantaclaw God.
Tamarantaclaw God.
What is my what?
What is your advice to the people? Like, let's just give you a little advice panel right now.
Okay, well, having seen all the tragedies of the world and actually being the biggest mass murderer of all time, it's God. I need you to just look in the mirror and think for a moment what it's all for. Because in the blink of an eye, you will disappear. And that is okay. And you just have to embrace what life you have. Because me, God, Santa Claus, Tamara, I put you here on this earth to enjoy life and to just move forward with your life. And if ever you go up to a door and you ask for a Tamara, maybe you wonder who that Tamara is and why you're asking for it. This has been a message from the Tamara organization. All hail Tamara.
Not sponsored by
Tamara
God.
is in you. I'm gonna leave now. Have a great day, y'all. I think I'm gonna go buy 17 pancakes and throw them into the gutter, and then watch all the little rats run out there and eat them. It's gonna be real funny. Bye.
I really thought she was just going to disappear after she finished her little advice panel. Are you crying?
It was really beautiful. I'm sorry.
Kind of gorgeous.
Like, I've never really thought about that. I could disappear at any moment.
At any moment. Hey, listen, calm down. Hey, listen, we just have our podcast here. It's just us. It's just us and the mics and all the people listening to this right now. Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys. It's
Welcome
me, Derek.
back to another episode of That Was Horrible.
How much have you done?
We tried to do an intro, and I don't know if Tamara was really in on the bit.
I mean, everyone knows who we
went
are.
away with her own thing. Yeah, it's us. I'm Isaac, and this is
I was taking a drink. Derek?
That's Derek. I'm Isaac. That was horrible. Our podcast where we do our best
At reviewing the worst
in horror movies. What are we doing?
It's one of those bits.
No, I'm taking this energy now.
It's one of my favorite bits that we ever do, or that people ever do, when like something is like intentionally wrong.
Yes, every time.
And I just never know how to make it wrong, but I'm like, it has to be wrong.
It's got to be something different. Rah!
If every time it's wrong, is there ever a time it's right?
So this week we watched The Strangers Chapter 1, released in 2024, the year of our Lord Tamara, 2024.
All hail Tamara.
Have we
We are
developed
Tamara.
a new god? I don't know if we ever
It was never not
I don't
there.
know if we ever let Garfield reach god status, but now Tamara is our all-seeing eye.
I wonder if Tamara is Garfield.
I mean, if she is every
Don't
living,
ask her back here,
this
though.
is-
That's
a
It
can
wreaks
of,
havoc on my nose.
that's a whole other really just doing that voice.
No, that's a lie. Okay. We went and saw The Strangers Chapter 1
in the
theaters.
theaters. We sat there. We were doing the illegals on our phone, writing a bunch of notes in the dark.
We weren't like recording it.
No, we weren't doing anything bad. I just like, if I'm always scared a little bit, like that an attendant or someone's gonna come in and be like,
I'm sorry, you can't be doing that. No,
Well,
it's not allowed.
That's exactly what they sound like. We've seen a lot of movies in the theaters for this podcast.
Yeah,
at
we've
this
done
point.
it a couple
like
times
a good
now.
handful. And this was the most people that have been in a theater.
Yeah, and
that we've seen.
I mean, we saw it like midday because I guess typically when
like
we go to
3
see
o'clock.
these, it's like on a Sunday, early in the morning. A lot of the times it's late at night. So I guess that's probably like this is the most people that have been in a theater with us. We kind of had
cool.
we had to avoid. We had to duck
Yeah.
and weave through all these people.
Definitely felt bad. I was like, oh my God, nobody look at me tippity typing on my
Yeah,
phone.
especially since I use my little iPad that's got the keyboard, so you can kind of hear the little click.
It added to the fear.
Yeah, it's because I'm terrified of typewriters.
All right, so let's take a couple minutes to recap the last couple weeks. I mean, literally a couple minutes, and then let's get into this movie. This couple weeks have been a lot, man. I grew up. I'm no longer a teenager, so that's good.
Yeah, he's growing up now. He's
I'm
getting
now
like
30.
facial
so
hair now. It's kind of wild.
I
No
hit
more
pu-
smooth baby
I hit
face Derek.
puberty. He gets bigger, like Garfield. We saw the Garfield movie. More on that to come.
We did see the Garfield movie. Just for anybody who was curious about that, like, are they going to go see the Garfield movie?
Yeah,
They
we
talk
did.
so much about it on the podcast. We did that. We did that for you.
We're trying to find the right format to
Yes.
talk about that.
We need it's something we gotta. It's got to be something special. It's got to be the right. We have to choose the right Garfield.
I hope that it's not one of those things that we've hyped up so much that we never do anything with.
yes.
But it is very possible that is the case.
But I'm gonna try to say it
We're-
right here, right now, so we maybe commit to doing
shit.
something with it. Now
We're gonna try. We're definitely gonna put our best foot forward.
Yeah,
so to
not
speak.
saying we're gonna put out a whole ass episode
Oh, no,
about it.
but
You know,
maybe
nothing
a
as long
short-
as the normal ones, but just like a shorter, just quick one, just talking to you about the wild horror times of the
'Cause
Garfield movie.
movie scared me more than The Stranger.
What I will say a little bit, there were some moments that were horror-esque. At least that not a lot, but there were
he got bigger.
some kind of spooky. He got bigger, guys.
bigger.
He grows. What you don't know about this Garfield movie is it's actually a body horror movie where Garfield's body is growing faster than a cat's should, and it starts to grow in uncommon,
It's like-
scary ways.
It's like that super gothic painting of Garfield standing over John.
Yes,
Have you seen that? I
Yes,
love
exactly. It's beautiful. It's horrible. It's like so horrible and beautiful. You can't look away from it though.
It was definitely a 1.5 star movie though.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
1.5 lasagnas for us. Anyway, more on that to come. But yes, we saw the Garfield movie.
Basically,
We've seen a couple movies recently, which is nice. Yeah,
We also went and saw Not Safe for Watching.
not safe for watching.
What is it
In a violent nature, you mean?
Same amount of words. Yeah, we went and saw In a Violent Nature, which is that movie that twists the trope of the Friday the 13th and puts us behind this killer instead of behind the people.
That is probably the easiest way to describe it, right? Imagine Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, but instead he is the main character of this movie, and you are following him throughout on his ASMR walk through the woods with some murders along the way.
And I will go on and say, if you're interested in that concept, great. Definitely look at A Parent's Guide before you go see that movie.
Ooh.
It's rated NC-17 for a reason.
Yes,
So-
absolutely, right? Like, if you're a fan of the Terrifier movies, it does not necessarily go that far,
No.
but there are definitely some kills in that movie that will,
They definitely
make
played
your
it out that it
stomach flip, You're
that was people who've seen the movie are gonna giggle at
Yes,
that.
exactly.
This,
It wasn't a stretch.
no, it wasn't a stretch. A
Go check this movie out.
little bit of a pop though. So
Goodness. This is nothing for anyone who
References.
hasn't seen the movie.
I hate it when people do that, when they have inside jokes that I'm not in on. I'm like, what am I not inside? So, It was pretty good. I liked it a lot, actually, and I'm sure we'll find another avenue to talk about this later in the year.
We saw it the same day that we saw this movie, The Strangers, which was kind of funny because we literally were intentionally going to see one movie we knew was rated poorly. So like, okay, so we're going in for like, a not so great time, and then going in for one which I think is currently sitting at like a 90%
like
for In a Violent Nature.
85 or something.
So yeah, it was kind of funny doing like the complete opposite ends of the spectrum here. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
That movie is like it's one of those movies that if you don't like art house horror, you probably won't like it.
Yeah.
At all. It's definitely not mainstream horror, which is
No.
probably why this is the first time you're hearing about it for most of you. But it was so cool.
Yes.
Like as far as like the concept goes, and the whole movie was told through like what the killer is hearing off screen. So like you see two movies playing out at once essentially, and I really liked that.
Yeah, it's a very, very unique movie for sure. I really enjoyed that much. But yeah, so we saw that one. You can go check it out if you'd like. But then we also saw The Strangers Chapter 1.
Yeah, let's
Chapter 1. Shouldn't there be
Chapter 1.
Shouldn't there be more?
Isn't this just another episode of Rivendell? Rivendell?
Sorry,
Wait,
there's
Rivendell. Oh,
Derek,
no.
there's someone at the.
Is it Tamara?
Should we? I opened the last time. I'm not going to answer it for Tamara.
Okay.
And you want to go open the door?
Hello.
Hey, it's me, guys. It's Puny the Punter. Hi guys, it's me, Puny the Punter. I just want to Strangers Chapter 1, more like Strangers Chapter Fun. Haha, is that anything?
No, that was really dumb.
Can we
actually.
roll with this? It's me, Puny the Punter.
I hate this guy.
What does Puny the Punter look like? I was thinking he looks kind of like Groucho Marx a little bit.
I kind of figured he had leprosy. I don't know why.
Whoa.
It just like makes sense to me. Like his limbs are like falling off, and he like every time he tells a bad joke, some of his skin regrows. But like if no one laughs, then his skin continues to fall off.
So so hold on. Now this is completely
No,
different.
so anyway,
lore
the
for the
Strangers
man.
chapter.
No, so hold on. So now Puny Punter is desperately trying to tell good jokes.
And I think that's why my character of Derek on the podcast, being a little meta here, I think that's why he hates him, because he fears leprosy so much. Because everyone fears leprosy, but also
so
like
the character of Derek
Bible-
fears leprosy.
Yeah. And the character of Derek, his like great grandpa had leprosy for 6 years or something, and So anyway,
Derek, please, I need you to laugh at my joke. I need to
physically
use
can't.
my fingers to play the violin again.
that's so violent.
They're all falling off. It's in my nature. What can I say?
That's pretty good.
This isn't even about in a violent nature. We're talking about the strangers here.
I know. Well, okay, here's the thing, Puny Punter. I want you to die, so I will not laugh at your jokes, so that eventually you are taken out of this mortal coil.
Derek, why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know why, Puny Punter.
A bing.
And every time he says a bing, it's his attempt to like grasp onto life.
I imagine him like a phoenix. I feel like he dies and then is reborn anew, fresh baby skin, punning man.
Deep down, that's why the character of Derek hates him
because
and
he's
ignores his
unkillable.
jokes. Yeah, well, and at the same time, he's helping him. It's kind of friendly.
Oh, so you're saying
He wants him to burn.
So rather than like trying to save him in his life here, it's like, listen, man, let's just start you over. You'll have a great time. It'll be wonderful. You'll be fresh, smooth baby, Puny Punter.
Well, and he's like, he's kind of going out on a limb for the guy. No pun intended. But like,
nah, that's pretty good. It's me,
shit.
fresh, revitalized Puny the Punter.
there you are. See, I can laugh at your jokes now.
I'm all big and buff now. Look at this. My jokes are my big guns, my muscles.
That joke's not that funny.
Why didn't you laugh? Why
joke's not that funny?
Why didn't you? Oh no!
It doesn't happen this fast.
God.
You got a couple weeks.
Oh jeez.
But the problem is we're bi-weekly now, so by the time we get to recording again, you're already dying. So the Strangers Chapter 1 is part 1 of 3.
Of 3 movies.
And apparently, I'm just gonna say it now.
They've all
been filmed.
Yes,
They've all been filmed. They're all ready to go.
It's not like the typical what was it recently that came? It was the Exorcist movie that had like Leslie Odom Jr. in it and stuff.
Yeah.
We watched it for this one. Not a very
Aaron
good movie.
Burser.
And now, Derek, do you want to talk about who is in charge of the next one to save this franchise?
Oh, are we talking about The Exorcist right now?
That was on fire.
Because Mike Flanagan is coming to put out the fire. God, Deus Ex Machina. Mike Flanagan, my son, my father, my lover,
Mike Flanagan doing it again.
I don't know if you knew this, guys, but I love Mike Flanagan's work.
Derek
and
kind of likes Mike Flanagan.
I love him so much. And and he's doing it.
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna.
He's at the helm for the Exorcist sequel now to the reboot. I don't even know exactly what. Not a remake, reboot. I guess.
Yeah.
That came out just this past year and was not good.
How I think that this went down is he's sitting at his little writing desk. He's he's writing his next script for whatever crazy Netflix show he has next.
Yeah, for his reimagining of The Shining. Could you imagine?
Oh my God,
that'd be incredible, actually.
Because he would actually follow the book. Yes, that's what he did with Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
Anyway,
exactly.
No. So he's sitting there. He's writing. Yeah, he's probably writing Dark Tower. Honestly, he's sitting because he is doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's sitting there. He's writing, and then he gets a knock at the door. He's like, "Hello, Mr. Mike Flanagan. Here is the script for the Exorcist movie." And he looks up from his desk and he pulls off his sunglasses and he's like, "Why the fuck would you give me that?"
I like that he
put that
sits
right there in the trash.
He sits and writes with sunglasses. This is a dark, gritty Mike Flanagan.
Yeah. He's like, "You put that right there in the fucking trash. You light that trash can on fire." And then he burns the script.
He
for
burns
the next
the script.
Exorcist
It's already
movie.
gone.
And you hear the screams of all the exorcised victims,
Yep.
like on treadmills. And then he picks up his pen. He dabs it in a little ink because
He picks up his quill. Yeah, exactly.
quill.
Definitely.
And he write Exorcist Chapter 2.
Yes.
Or Exorcist underline.
To exorcist. To exercise.
to treadmill. To
Exorcist
too
2.
furious.
Right. The right to exercise.
Anyway, I hope that movie doesn't suck. All right. So,
Yeah, me too. But so it's not one of those situations though where like they release one, they film and release one, it's out, and then hopefully they can see where they messed up, and then they get someone new like Mike Flanagan to come in and save the franchise. All of these ones are already done, and so that's really interesting to me to see how that one is going to follow through. The next one you mentioned is going to be released this year, right?
It is slated for a 2024 release. The third chapter has no frame or anything.
No release date
Probably
yet.
next year.
Probably sometime earlier next year, I would assume. I don't know.
It kind of feels like they're trying to hop on the train of what went down with X and Maxine and Pearl.
Yes. Yeah,
where
yeah,
they
yeah.
were like, okay, we released this movie. Now we're going to release another one.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, surprise.
Aha.
But that one worked a little better because it was a literal surprise. We had no idea.
And they were kind of separate. I actually don't know anything about the filming of the X franchise like that.
Apparently, they were filmed at the same time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean that does track. That makes sense.
That is my understanding.
And see,
of
the thing
Mr.
is that
Ty
can
West's
work.
X.
You can be very intentional about that kind of thing, and so it seems like they are attempting to be intentional.
Yep.
And I can say right now, it does seem like there's a fair bit of setup and things that have yet to be paid off that hopefully will pay off in further movies.
Yep, and we will go deeper into that. So let's go deep into The Strangers Chapter 1 right now. This was directed by Rennie Harlan. It was written by Brian Bertino, Alan Cohen, and Alan Friedland. And everyone knows what happens when you get two Allens in the same room.
They just
never
start
works.
kissing. They just kiss, and it's like, guys, we got to make the movie. Quit smooching.
Allens,
Allens,
my
here-
mouth
here-
is hurting.
Here, boys. It's Alex, my mouth is hurting. I need kisses from my ouchie mouth. Alan, come smooch me.
I don't care who, just one of you kisses.
Just get that tub of Vaseline, slather it on yourself, and come and give me a big wet one.
What does that even mean? No, last Vaseline. What? That doesn't even make sense, Isaac.
Like for chapstick.
Yeah, but Vaseline?
Yeah.
The Lord's lubricant? You put that.
Listen, you ain't seen these crusty lips. They need help, like medicinal help at this point. They need to go in for surgery or something.
Alan.
Alan. My mouth hurts. Do you have somewhere to go with that?
I don't.
There are two
Yeah, I
Allens
do.
in here.
No, that doesn't matter.
Derek,
So Rennie Harlan.
Derek, I think you're getting too into your drink. What do you got there? What are you drinking over there?
Oh, hello. Really quickly, because you're running very late on time today. You're doing a lot of bits today.
It's a bit heavy
It's
episode.
a bit heavy episode.
Bilbo bartender, welcome back to the studio. What are we drinking today?
You may notice you're drinking from a Charlie Brown mug.
Yeah, what's he doing here?
Who's the stranger now?
Wah 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 wah. What? Huh? Wah
Hey, it's me, Penny the Punter. I like that bit.
wah 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 wah. You doing Beauty the Punter voice is funny.
I don't know. Anyway, Today what you're drinking is a strange concoction. I put in there a couple drops of tree sap and some bark from the trees in the woods.
Some
and
motor oil
there's
from a
little,
motorcycle?
There's a little surprise in there that I won't tell you who it is until next week.
Oh my
because
God.
it's chapter 1 of the drink.
I love the fact that like this is the perfect stomping grounds for you. It's just like when we did Imaginary, where like you could just do any bullshit you want because it's an imaginary drink.
Absolutely. And inside of that drink, what you really have is some coffee. Some
He's trying
Kahlua.
He's trying to say coffee and Kahlua.
I also put some ice cream in there. A little froyo from the Menchie's.
That's tasty. Thank you.
Don't forget the banana. Soupy twist.
And a banana.
And a banana.
I feel like all of his drinks have to incorporate a banana now at this
shit.
point. I don't know why.
And a
Thank you.
banana.
Thanks, Bilbo Bartender. So tell me about the directors for this movie.
I don't want
Or
to.
director? Or writers and directors. What
Do you know
got?
why I don't want to?
Why's
Because
that?
he directed Die Hard 2.
What? What?
So Rennie Harlan, mastermind behind Die Harder.
Yeah. I want to say he's also directed, like, go just like scroll down on this
Okay.
IMDb page for a second.
I'm going.
Nah, maybe I was wrong on this one. I could have swore I saw something that said maybe one of the writers helped work on like Nightmare on Elm Street 4, I think, Dream Warriors.
Well, he did Exorcist at the beginning.
Okay, yeah. So there's that.
One of the famous Exorcists.
No, there it is.
sequels.
Yeah. A Nightmare on
yeah.
Elm Street 4.
Look
He
at
was the
that.
director.
He was the director.
The Dream Master. That's what it was.
Is this the one where he turns into a bus?
It's a super weird one.
This is the one where he
Which
turns into a
honestly I
bus.
really love. Can I hi horse. Hi. Woo. Hi horse.
Oh, hello. It's good to see you. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. Can you build me a box, please?
Yeah, let me pull out my butt plug.
Okay. Why do you
Hello?
Okay, I'm not gonna
What
ask.
are you going to say?
I'm not
Here's your
asking any
box.
further
Beak,
questions.
beak, beak.
Getting up on my soapbox, they did a remake of the Nightmare on Elm Street many years ago, right? And it was like arguably like people hated it, right? We could probably actually definitely watch it for this podcast.
Oh yeah, it's planned.
It's definitely on the list someday. But it was a dark, gritty reboot, and I didn't necessarily enjoy it that much. I feel like what could make a good new Nightmare on Elm Street movie is if they get back to being super freaking weird about it. Because like you mentioned, he turns into a bus. There's one where he literally like turns himself into a TV and grabs a girl and shoves herself into like the TV screen that is like his stomach. I don't even know what it necessarily is, but like those movies are weird. And Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Masters is a super weird one.
I need to watch this movie.
Anyway, make horror weird again is all I'm trying to say.
I think the best way to make a new Nightmare on Elm Street, do it with the Muppets. Anyway, so let's move on.
Just murdering Muppets.
Wouldn't that be great?
Is Freddy the Muppet though,
Fruppet.
or is he the human?
That's up to you.
Because that's how these Muppet movies work. There's always like one center, one pivotal structure.
I think Animal has to be the Muppet.
Animal could be a Freddy Krueger type.
Kill them all. Kill them all.
Pretty good. That's it.
Yeah, I can't. No, there's no joke.
Kill them all. Kill them all.
It's pretty good. So this was actually written. Well, Brian Bertino wrote the original, and
Oh,
so
okay.
he has a credit for writing.
I
this
see.
one.
So
I don't know how much he actually had to do with it,
I
but
don't
from what
know
I
if he
understand,
actually-
it's a pretty close remake.
Mm-hmm.
It's another Omen situation where they basically just took the same script.
Yes,
And so-
that's fair. And it's not like a sequel. It is technically a
It
reboot.
is a
It
reboot.
is a whole new thing. It is not connected to the old ones.
Which I can kind of feel. You can feel it when you're watching the movie because the script itself isn't bad. The
Yeah.
script itself is actually pretty decent, which is what I think held this movie up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
When we'll go over that. But like that is to be said that it doesn't seem like any changes were made as far as the script goes.
Oh,
it was
definitely.
pretty shot for shot. I feel like what happened, and this is just my theory, is Mr. Die Harder, he watched the original Strangers and he was like, what if that had 2 more parts?
What if there was more? He finished that movie. He's like, "Aw,
Aww.
it's over,
Mom, bring me more cereal for my rice checks.
Mom. I want more." What?
So anyway, Rotten Tomatoes is sitting pretty hefty at a 22% for the critics.
Right away.
And the audience is sitting at a 45, actually. It seems
So-
like audience are pretty enjoying it.
I mean, like, and that's just always the case. Critics are always harder on horror movies than like regular people, audience fans, people enjoy horror more than the critics often do.
Can I get on my high horse quick?
Yeah, sure. Do you want,
Here we go. A peek.
do you want your do you want the what plug? Do you want that
The
back?
butt
The what plug?
the what plug?
Yeah, do you want that?
Yeah, but I'm from Europe, so I have to use a converter for my butt plug.
What? What?
You know how they have different plugs?
Sure.
In Europe?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Get on your box. You get up on your box, young man. You're grounded.
You appreciate that joke, damn it.
You're the opposite of
That was
grounded.
good comedy.
You're elevated right now.
If I was standing on a stage in a Netflix special, at least 5 people would have laughed at that joke.
Jerry Seinfeld would be busting up over that one.
George! Okay, so
Butt plugs.
butt plugs. Do you think it's crazy that they have I can't even do the bit. Hey, you guys know butt plugs? What's the deal with butt plugs?
Someone went out here into butt plugs.
That was good.
I went out to Europe,
And I had to use a converter for my butt.
and I wasn't ready for it.
It was stretching me all kind of ways.
I went out with my buddy. He put it in, and I said, George!
George, that's a European butt plug. Oh. In Australia, it goes the other direction.
Good grief. It's like a Charlie Brown tie-in. You see?
A little, oh, good grief. Very good. Okay, so.
Jeez. Anyway.
Oh, I was going to get on my high horse about something.
Oh, yeah. Do you
What was
remember?
it? Shit.
Was it not about butt plugs?
No, it was actually a really good bit.
Oh, no.
Not a bit, though. It was like an actual
we
serious.
we were talking about how audience like it more than the critics.
Oh, okay. So something that has been bothering me as of late, but not really bothering me, but also something I've been noticing is how much the movie experience makes the movie. And I think part of the reason that critic scores are always so much lower than audience scores is they're always seeing these movies in a different environment, right? They're seeing these movies in like screenings and stuff with other critics.
That
okay?
is fair.
So, like, the audience, they're going with their friends, they're going with their girlfriends, they're going with their boyfriends, they're going with their partners. Like, they are going and sitting in the theater and watching these movies, right? For the most part.
In a
For the most
less
part.
serious tone, too, right?
Yes.
It's like, I'm not watching this movie to sit and
Yes.
review it
So,
as
like,
a critic.
These 87 critics were all given a ticket, probably. They all sat down in a screening theater, some of them alone, some of them, like, maybe with someone, but most of the time it's going to be another critic. They're going to be super critical anyway because they're critics. But on top of that, if it is a slightly bad movie, they're going to be even harsher on it because they don't have that added experience of
Yeah.
watching it with a friend.
And then that's the thing, like watching it with a buddy, watching it in a theater that is like electric with the energy of people all here to see a fun movie, like just like get spooked and such. Like that adds so much to the experience of any
Horror.
movie, but especially horror.
Especially horror.
Horrors, thrillers, that kind of stuff. Anything with intense action that's really meant to like get you up out of your seat and be like, whoa.
Now, and that's not to be said all movies are like that, because some movies are just not great.
Right.
You know, but I would say for the most part, like the scores are a little bit lower than they probably would have been.
Yeah.
And that's why that's my soapbox about why I think the audience scores are always higher than the
Yay. He did. Did you see? I like the part that he said about the movies. Yeah.
Did you know that Red Bull gives you wings?
Red Bull does give you wings. Now let's fly into the critics' ratings for this one. Do you want to take this a critics consensus right here at the top? There's
do.
no audience consensus, but there is a critics consensus.
Lacking the chilling suspense of the original, The Strangers and proving to be that was so confusing. Lacking the chilling suspense of the original The Strangers and proving to be just unpleasant. This chapter 1 closes the book on itself.
I just wanted to freak you out.
That didn't freak me out. But
So
it
yeah,
was
so
fun.
that's a critics consensus. I'll just start with the top one here. Sarah Vincent of Sarah G. Vincent
love her.
Views with a rotten review says, The Strangers Chapter 1 2024 is for anyone who saw The Strangers 2008 and thought, I'd like to see this new movie, but wish the actors were a little less famous.
Oof.
That's actually, that tracks. Because who was it you told me was in the first one? Like Liv Tyler's in
Yeah,
the first
Liv
one?
Tyler.
And who was I don't remember who the other person is.
Sigourney Weaver's mom's cousin.
Oh, yeah. It's
That was a lie.
Archibald Weaver. Hello, it is me, Archibald Weaver. I was
Scott
in The
Speedman.
Strangers. Scott Speedman, who
I appreciate you doing this bit.
more famous. I don't really remember.
I don't know who this guy
I
is.
don't know who this man is.
Oh, he was Michael in Underworld.
He was in Underworld. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I do know who this man is.
But
Oh, he's Nick Marsh in Grey's Anatomy. I do know this man.
Nick Marsh in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Telegram for you, Derek.
He was just really far away. I see him now.
It's got a Rotten Tomatoes review on it.
Oh, yeah, you want me to read that?
Yeah, read it out loud for the people. I can't disappear unless I read.
Marco Vito Otto from We Got This Covered with a score of 2.5, 2 out of 5 says, The Strangers Chapter 1 retells the story of the original so it can set up more interesting sequels. Unfortunately, by overstretching the introduction of a new trilogy, it contradicts the franchise's ethos and embraces tiresome horror tropes.
Ooh. Jen Adams from Strong Female Antagonist with a fresh review says, just 16 years after The Stranger... Wow, 16 years?
Yeah.
Just 16 years after The Strangers hit theaters, this admittedly well-executed copy does little more than increase our appreciation for the original films. Wow.
Nate Adams from The Only Critic says, let's close the book on this franchise.
Ooh. And going into talking about the original film, Derek and I actually have not seen the original Strangers movie, which is kind of interesting because the consensus on what I've gathered from like the reviews and stuff, the tweets about it online, people are mostly just saying it's a shot-for-shot, beat-for-beat remake of the 2008 movie, but worse in every way, right? Just like doesn't ever hit the marks the same way, right?
Yep.
And so that makes me really curious, but we were able to come in without that bias, just completely unknowing of any of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like I'm mildly familiar with the story and how it works out, right? But like at the end of the day, I don't know that movie and I can't compare the two of them, which is kind of nice.
So funny enough, since sitting down to make my notes this morning, the box office has gone up. So that's never happened with money before.
That's strange.
The budget for this movie was $8.5 million, and I don't know if that was the budget for all three or just this one.
Gotta be just the one, right?
I'm assuming that's just the one because Mrs. Riverdale probably took just that much alone.
That much money, Mrs. Riverdale.
And so it had a budget of $8.5 million. The movie opened. We are sitting at, let's see, how many days? Almost a month ago. About a month ago, the movie came out in the United States.
Is that really how long it's been? Lord.
Less than a month, actually. 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Two,
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're sitting about 2.5 weeks later. The movie is out. It is $32 million in gross.
$2 million.
Yeah, man.
Made some money.
Made money.
I mean, people like The Strangers, right? They like the characters, and they've had really cool marketing for it too. There have been a couple things actually where they've had like premieres for certain things or like big events out in Hollywood, and they just have people dressed as one of the three strangers just standing there staring at like a camera or something like that.
That's horrifying.
Just being horrifying, and like that's their promo for this though, and that kind of works.
I like that, but also please don't.
Yeah, right. I don't understand how they're doing that and not like getting the authorities called on them or something.
Please don't.
It's a scary place out there. And what if that could be anybody? You don't know who this is.
Yeah.
Shall we go over our expectations?
Let's do it.
All right. So generally for this one, I was expecting just a middle of the road movie. I was expecting to not like it nor hate it, just come out being like, well, we did it. We watched it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. My general expectation was like, I'll have a mid time.
Yeah, a mid time. My first formal expectation says Miss Scarlet Witch of Riverdale is not going to work for me. That is our main character here, Madeline Petch. It's Petschch.
She's the one who was in love with her brother, and then her brother died.
Yeah, exactly. It was a whole thing. Do you know why? Like, are you caught up on like what Riverdale is?
Dude,
up to?
I watched the first season and then half of the second season and stopped.
That's exactly
because
as much as I've
first
seen.
season was good.
Yes.
It was actually really good.
It started out somewhere great. I'll die on that hill. I liked the first season of Riverdale,
then
but
it went downhill.
The plot gets so crazy. There's a point where there is a comet coming to destroy the town, and this actress, her character gets like superpowers, like similar to the Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movies, and has to like use her powers to stop the comet from destroying the town. This is a show that started out about like her brother's murder and was like a noir, almost like Twin Peaks-esque vibe, and they've come so far from that.
They fell so far.
It's insane. But yeah, so I just said Madeline is not really going to work for me very much.
Which I completely agree with. My first one, though, is Stupid Story. I just assumed that they would try to force a story in there where there didn't need to be one.
Yeah, I get that. I said it's going to miss every scary point it wants to make. I feel like there will be a lot of things where like that was almost scary, but you did something, or you pulled yourself out of it too soon and it wasn't going to work.
Absolutely. Forced as Hell Jumps, man. This is another one of those, after school special movies where it's like there's just going to be forced jump scares all over the place.
All over. Forced jump scares aplenty. I said there's 2 victims in this one because all I've known thus far, there are only 2 people that are in danger in this entire thing. And I doubt either of them will have a good kill in this movie.
Yeah.
Either way that they die, the two of them,
Absolutely. Some sort of supernatural element is at play here, is a theory I have. Just because, like, there's these three people in the woods. I'm like, okay, they're doing something.
Right.
Right.
They're up
There
to
has
no
to be
good.
some sort of reason.
Yeah.
So I was hoping for some supernatural stuff.
And that's the thing, you're hoping for that, right? Like, I think that'd be a cool thing
I would
to
love
add
that,
into it,
yeah.
right? I said, we'll maybe get into the actual action faster than expected, because I feel like some movies, especially some modern horror, they feel the need to set up so much with the characters, their lives, what they're doing before this, so they're like likable from the start. But I had a feeling this one would like get to the point pretty quickly, because it seems like all of the footage and stuff is them at the cabin. So I figured they would get there pretty fast.
A terrible cliffhanger is an expectation of mine, just because
Okay.
we're looking at 3 movies, so there had to be some sort of cliffhanger for this movie to continue on.
Gotta leave
and
you
I
wanting
figured
something.
it would like be bad.
Yeah.
It would just not work.
My final expectation just said the 3 baddies will be my favorite. The 3 spooky looking masked characters in this one that are causing all this havoc. Probably going to be the best part of the movie.
And then my last one is weird attempt at the whole one room gimmick.
Right.
Because I love the one room gimmick. It's like my favorite trope in horror.
When used well.
Yes, when used well. And I was like, okay, it's a cabin in the woods. That's a one room.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna do something cool with it.
I had never thought
Or
about
maybe
that.
it's gonna be a weird attempt that doesn't work.
That doesn't work, yeah. So, shall we dive into this movie? Is it time? Let's dive. Splash. So, we see a well-dressed man running for his life in the woods. He is clearly in danger. Something's got to be chasing him, right? I'm enjoying, like, right from the start, there's some really good music in it, like some very good, tense, eerie music that I'm really enjoying. Yeah. But so, man is running and running and running, and he has to, what am I trying to say? He's hiding from these characters throughout places in the woods and such like that. So he gets cornered. He trips, I think, and hurts himself, and then is cornered by an axe-wielding man who is wearing a... You actually can't see what he's wearing on his face there. It's hidden behind some trees, and he comes up with his big old axe, and then we just get a big chop right into the man, which I really enjoyed because we didn't actually get to see. So right out the gate, we're already seeing one fresh kill here, right? So we see him get murdered behind this tree, and that is the start of our movie. So off to a running start, I would say. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling this. We're feeling a little bit of tension here. Then we get some text up on the screen talking about how many violent crimes are made in a day. Like, oh, it's this many crimes in a year, this many crimes in a day, this many in every second. It's like every 26 seconds, I think is what it said.
Yeah, and then it was like, this many people have died since being in this theater or something like that.
I don't know. I kind of thought it was corny, but I kind of enjoyed it. They're like, there's a violent crime committed every 26 seconds. That's this many since this movie began. I was like, okay.
That was pretty cool.
I kind of, the vibe there is kind of fun. I'm kind of enjoying that a little bit, right? So it talks about that. Now we are somewhere in Oregon, just kind of in the middle of nowhere. We meet our main couple, Maya and Ryan are their names.
Marian.
We get like what feels like, Derek and I even said this out loud to each other, a Chekhov's inhaler.
Yeah.
For Ryan,
Immediately.
because there's a moment where, what is he laughing at a joke? I can't even remember, but like he starts having a little bit of an asthma attack.
It was ridiculous.
It was kind of stupid,
It
is what it was.
just came out of nowhere. He's like, oh, by the way, inhaler.
Yep. Pulls out the inhaler. There's a very like establishing shot of him with the inhaler. Takes a big puff and like, okay, he's fine. I did not really gather why they are going out here. It's because they're on their way for her to get a job, I think. But it's also their 5-year anniversary
It
of
was their
dating.
5-year anniversary, and they're checking out the new stomping grounds.
Yeah, because she is looking to get a job out in Oregon, right? Which means they would have to relocate from where they are. There's a conversation about that later. But
It doesn't matter.
They're basically going on a trip, is all you need to know, right? So it's in the middle of nowhere, except it's not necessarily nowhere. It's in this teeny town called Venus in Oregon with a population of like 400 people. It's a small town. It's a little guy. It's a little itty bitty
It's like
town.
it's like a town for ants.
What is this, a town for ants?
No, you got to say it more straight faced than that. You can't quote the movie. It's like a town for ants.
It's like a town for ants. There are very bad vibes in this town. Everyone is staring at them. It's real awkward. They stop by at this diner, and the dialogue between everyone is feeling very stiff and not incredibly believable. Like, I'll just say this right now. I did not like the main guy, Ryan. His performance was robotic, to say the least. How did you feel about him?
Yeah, he was. I think we've described him as a AI generated man. he just does not work.
No, it's like if you asked AI to create like average white man, and that's what it created. It created this guy.
There is a specific scene later in the movie that I have a huge note about. I'm super excited to talk about, where he basically just does not register how to act and just stops working. It seems like a glitch in the Matrix, and this happens multiple times throughout the movie.
Ryan.exe.
His
not
name
found.
his name is Ryan Bone. Bound. He's not done a lot.
Mm-mm.
I hope he does more.
Do
for
you?
his
You sure about that?
profession.
You sure about that? So the dialogue feels pretty stiff. So they have an awkward encounter at this diner. All the people are kind of looking at them. So they leave this eerie diner and its nosy patrons, and then their car won't start. And it just did a second ago. The trope. Of course, the car's not going to start. How typical, right?
One of my favorite things about this is they didn't understand how technology worked. So he had just like his key. You know, the cars, you have one of these,
Yeah, it was
like
one
the
of those
push
push start
starts
cars.
where you just need your key in the car. She's like, wait, take the key out of your pocket. What does that? What would that accomplish?
Yeah, Maya
It's
suggests
sitting-
to him. She's like, yeah, take the key out of your pocket. That's going to fix it.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Not
Let me
how
hold
it
my
works
key
at
in my
all.
hand instead of putting it in my pocket. It's like an inch away. What
Exactly.
the fuck is
It's
that
not
going to
make
do?
a difference.
Did it make a difference? No.
The lining of my Levi's are not going to stop the signal from going to the car.
Weird Levi plug.
He listened. He was wearing Levi's. I caught it.
Levi butt plug.
So it seems like his engine is fucked, and they just got to wait overnight to get the part to fix it. Because like the town mechanic, who's like right across the street, is like, yeah, well, it needs this part. Oh yeah, can't get it. Got to go overnight to get this.
Definitely did something to
You
the
got
car.
it. You know he did something to the car.
I was hoping. Okay, we never find out if he did anything to the car.
No, we don't.
I'll tell you that now. But it definitely implied that he did. In my opinion, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think no. I don't
Because
think
it's
they're
like
gonna go that way.
it's one of those things that's like so on the nose that it's just like come on.
But what we can say about this is that the town is seeming like something is up here. There are these two creepy like twin looking kids who look like they're out of The Shining who give them like this pamphlet for some like church or something like
Definitely
that. And
feels very culty.
and that happens a couple times. That's never really paid off in anything. That may be something that happens in some of the sequels, but there's some church that's happening in this town. And anyway, the town is super off-putting. But yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be the ones that were like making this thing happen. Are they all in on this strangers thing? Like,
This could go so many good places.
it could. It really could.
This could be good if they can like set up some sort of weird cult in this town that like needs sacrifices or something.
Yeah.
Like that could be good.
Could be kind of cool. Add that supernatural element to it. Like I'm kind of
Hasn't
into
happened
that.
yet.
But yeah, so they're stuck in this town. They did not mean to stay here. They meant to stop by, get food, get on their way, right? So now they're like, okay, so what do we do? They're like, well, the only motel's shut down, but there's this Airbnb nearby. I guess there's some
That's
dude.
just not how that works.
No. So I guess there's just some dude who's a hunter and rents out his place while he's out for like hunting season.
This gives the vibe of someone who doesn't understand what Chat GPT is. So they're like, yeah, go check your Chat GPT, bud. You know, that kind of a vibe. Everyone's been there, right?
We've all been there.
No, but you get what I mean, though. It's like someone who like hears something over and over. It's like the writer, like when they were updating the script for 2024, because it obviously happened.
Oh, definitely.
Right? Like it's not exact word for word. They definitely updated it. But when they did, whoever was making those updates was like a 90-year-old man. I know who actually did it, but it was like a 90-year-old man who didn't understand modern technology.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like, wait, yeah, just take the key out of your pocket.
Take the key out.
Oh,
got an Airbnb down the road.
She's a vegan. Let's bring that up a lot. Yeah, that will be really, really funny for no fucking
That
reason.
was a weird thing they kept doing. All of the townsfolk are like vegan racists or something.
Yes.
Like they're all so against the
my
fact
God.
that Maya is a vegan. And there's no reason that had to happen. There was never a moment where that came up in the movie at all.
No, well, not
Just-
for
just
any
like
reason.
Vegan representation, I guess. I don't really
Yeah.
understand.
She's got vegan powers.
It was
They'll
a
probably
strange
come
thing.
up in the
Oh,
next
okay.
movie.
So it's like a Scott Pilgrim kind of
Yeah,
thing where she
yeah,
gets
yeah.
powers, just like in Riverdale. It's all getting connected.
Oh, it's all connected.
So one of the ladies from the diner decides, oh, I'll drive you to this Airbnb because clearly they don't have a car to get there, right? They get driven to this house, this cabin that's seemingly like in the middle of nowhere right now, and they start to unpack and unwind with some drinks, and then they start having sex in this Airbnb.
Capital E.
They just start making out on the counter and start taking each other's clothes off. But then there's a knock at the door. There's a knock at the door.
Hey, you forgot about Richard Brake was in the audience.
Richard Brake was in the diner.
For some reason.
Why are you giving me a Richard Brake cameo that never pays off? Like he's gotta be in the next ones, right?
He has to be. For those of you who don't remember, Richard Brake is just a fantastic actor. He's been in so many different
He's a
things.
spooky actor too.
I don't. We just watched something with him. We
just
watched a few things.
He was
with
in
him.
Hannibal Rising.
I mean, yeah, he was in Hannibal Rising. That's right. He was in Barbarian.
he was in Barbarian. Yes.
Yeah, he's been in a lot.
He was also in like the Rob Zombie's Monsters movie that came out recently.
That's right.
Which, listen, was not reviewed very great. I had a fun time with it personally.
It was fine.
He's an actor, like you probably don't know him by name, and maybe you do. That's great, but like if you saw
know
him,
his face.
you're probably like, oh yeah, I've caught him in something. He does some really great performances.
He was
I like him a lot.
in the Muse Knights of Sidonia video.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that.
He's just one of those famous actors.
But it's kind of bad. Like I'm sad that they made Richard Brake flake on us because he just showed up as I think the sheriff of this town. He was just in the diner, and there's just like a shot
Sheriff
or two
Rodder.
dedicated to him. And I don't even think he said any words. He had no lines.
He did a creepy look, and that's it.
No, so but he was there in the diner, and that's really all we can say about him for now. Maybe in chapter 2 we'll get some more Richard Brake. We'll get you our Richard Brake take, if you will. So anyway, there's a knocking at the door, a harsh knocking. Thank you. A figure covered in shadows is at the door. A young woman's voice starts asking if Tamara is here.
Oh, hello. Me,
No,
Tamara.
Tamara, you're not home.
Okay, goodbye.
You were never here for the movie. That was so easy. So yeah, she asks, is Tamara here? Then awkwardly stands there once they say that she's not. They're like, sorry, you must have the wrong house. Like there's no Tamara here, right? So she just stands there, then slowly steps away from the door and then just stands eerily in the middle of the dimly lit road, like, 100 feet away from them.
Yep.
Just standing there menacingly, just looking evil. So then they just shut the door. They're like, that was weird. Anyway,
Back to sex.
I think they go and they do have sex. They don't show any of it. They just show like the reason you can tell is because she's now wearing his shirt as like her only article
tucked over her butt.
over her bum.
I love those things that happen in movies where you're like, that just is not how that would be.
No, yeah.
I don't care that it is. It just is not how that would be.
Yeah, that's not the real world, But anyway, they started having a conversation, kind of giving you more exposition about them as a couple. They've been dating for 5 years. She's a little bothered by the fact that they aren't married by now. And they're sitting and talking about their futures together when suddenly he realizes he needs his inhaler. Remember that fucking inhaler?
Can we just real quick, they are trying to push the fact that these two people aren't married on us so
all
hard.
the time.
Because like they when they're in that diner asking for questions, they're like, "Is there a ring on her finger? You've been married for 5 years. You know what the Lord says about sinning."
And there's another couple. There's another couple that's there that's been dating for less time than them. They're already married, I think, and it's like just really waving that in their faces.
It was,
and again, does it matter? No.
but there's a bunch of moments where they like randomly mention sinning too,
Yes.
and so it's like it's really, really pushing this like religious trope that never goes anywhere.
Never gets anywhere. Again, maybe chapter 2 will pay off on some of these things, but right now I'm getting a lot of
times. We're giving a lot of credit.
A lot is riding on the sequel for this to make this a good movie.
Yeah.
But so he needs his inhaler now again, right? So remember Chekhov's inhaler from earlier, but they never put it back in their bags after he used it in the car, and the car is back in town. So what's he gonna do? He's just like, oh, there was a motorcycle in front of this house, perfectly in good use. I'm just going to steal that motorcycle and ride into town. And she even says, have you ever rode a motorcycle before? And he's like, no. I'll tell you what, guys, I own a motorcycle. I would not be able, before riding that thing, I would not be able to just hop on that thing and know exactly how it works.
Nah, dude.
Like, there's no way he just knew how to use a motorcycle after never using one at all.
They're also upset because the fridge is not working, and there's a number on the door that they're like, okay, we're going to call this number, and
like,
the guy's going to come and
if there's anything
fix
wrong with this, just call me and let me know. And so she leaves him like a voicemail, be like, hey, the fridge isn't working. Just like, if you could come fix it, that'd be great. I'm Madeline. Okay,
it.
bye.
I like Riverdale.
I like Riverdale. You might have caught me. Did you see? Oh, you hung up. Okay. It was a voicemail. How did you hang up on me? So, but he goes, Johnny Dangerous here rides into town on his motorcycle. So now Amaya is left alone in the spooky cabin, which, is a bad sign right out the gate.
I mean, okay, let's talk literally for a second here.
Yeah.
If I was in my significant other, if I was in the woods with my significant other,
yes,
and we were in a cabin in a strange place where we just basically got forced into being at,
yes,
I would not leave them alone at all.
Absolutely not.
There is no way in hell I would leave on a strange motorcycle in a place I've never been to go to town. I would go with them. I would take them with me.
Yes.
If we had to go, we're going to go.
Motorcycle with me. But also, like, on his end, it's like not believable that he would just leave her. Also not believable for her to just be like, okay, have fun.
Have fun, baby. I'm going to smoke a joint.
Oh, I'm hungry. So will you get us some food too? It's like, are you not scared?
Are you not terrified?
I would be scared. personally,
She is way too nonchalant about this entire
the
situation.
whole time. I mean, both of them are really the entire time. But so she's left alone in this cabin, and then she starts to hear footsteps around the house, and now more banging on the door.
Yep.
Like, oh shit, that's not. Because at first she's like, oh, haha, I told you you couldn't ride that motorcycle. She thought maybe it was going to be Ryan back at the door, right? And now the voice is back at the door asking for Tamara again. She tells them no, but they proceed to bang on the door and repeat the question, is Tamara here? What's weird about it is it almost sounds like it's like a recording. The line is
Tamara
delivered
here?
exactly the same every
Tamara
single
here?
time.
It's like a parrot.
Yes.
Is Tamara here?
Exactly. Is Tamara here? Tamara here?
Pretty good.
Donk, donk, donk. So she tells them no. They proceed to bang on the door. Then someone. So I actually really like this angle. It shows Maya in front of the door, like peeking out of the peephole, right? And then the camera is set quite a ways behind her. Somebody walks in front of the camera behind Maya.
Pretty
so, like,
good.
Someone's inside of the house. I did like that shot.
This-
I thought it was really cool.
So moving forward, her being like stalked in this house, there are some really good moments
There's
here.
some fun camera work.
Really
that I
good
really
camera
liked.
work, really scary moments
Yeah.
that we're going to go over, which is completely destroyed by her performance.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And it's so unfortunate.
So there's someone who walks past the camera. There's a long time of her not noticing people in this house. Because then someone starts singing Rockabye Baby from out the window, right? So now it's like, oh no, they're all over the place now. She checks outside and we see POV of like someone stalking her from behind the trees. You can hear them breathing. So she's getting proper spooks right now, right? So how does she calm herself down? Well, she goes smoke a little joint, calm herself down. She starts playing some records. She picks like the eeriest,
Easily the
spookiest
creepiest record you possibly could.
And like, I get it. It's not your record collection. You don't know what's going to play, but it is like the scariest song that they find for this one.
Album vinyls have album covers.
Exactly, right? Like
She
there's
knows.
something- I don't
She's
know.
like singing along with it.
And maybe it was the fact that like maybe it was an old record player, but it kind of was playing it just a little slower than you think it is. So it's got that kind of draggingness. The voice is kind of like modulated downwards a little bit. Like I liked it actually. I thought it was pretty spooky. Just kind of funny that like they use that as a way to build the tension. And like if I was listening to that, I'd be like, absolutely not that one for sure. I'm not going to play that song. So Ryan makes it to his car to retrieve his inhaler. Yeah, while she's kind of freaking out in the house. But then is almost attacked by the mechanic who's fixing his car, thinking that he is like a car thief, right? He was not too kind about it. He's like, hey, you better watch it. I thought you were a car thief. And he's holding like this big old wrench in his hand is about to hit him with, right?
The song that was playing was Sprout and the Bean by
and the
Joanna
Bean.
Newsom.
And I bet if you listen to it again, probably kind of spooky.
Probably not as spooky as you would think. I think the thing that would make it spooky is being on like a bad vinyl.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
I mean, that's
Then
fair.
maybe,
You and Emily,
maybe.
you and Emily got that one song from Good Omens on a little vinyl record, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Every Day by Buddy Holly.
No hate to the song. It's just the record you guys have sounds scary.
Well, because it's one of those single vinyls, and it's from when the song came
It's
out. It's like
old.
super, super old.
it's a little like wobbly, so like
I kind of like it.
it's great. I really love it, but it is definitely kind of a spooky vibe.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, a man makes it back to his car. He manages to get the inhaler, right? Back home, we get a really cool shot that I really like, actually. So Maya, I keep wanting to call her her real name. Maya starts playing the piano, just like fill the emptiness, find a way.
As soon
to...
as she sat down at this piano, I was like, she's gonna play Moonlight Sonata.
You did. You knew 100%.
Immediately after that, she started playing Moonlight
Starts
Sonata.
playing Moonlight Sonata. Yep, just the first.
But she only knows the first movement.
Yeah.
Why
of
does she only know? God, play third movement. That made me press.
Derek kept
You ever-
saying that.
you
He's
ever-
like, go on, coward. Go play third movement.
Play third movement of Moonlight Sonata, and it's not easy. It's like one of the hardest pieces of music you can ever play. She's gonna sit there and play the first
Derek-
like 10 bars of Moonlight Sonata. Fucker.
Derek, let's sit and talk here.
I'm upset.
Have you ever had to play Moonlight Sonata?
I've tried
Have you had any difficulties with the third movement in Moonlight
a
Sonata?
lot, man. A lot.
This is feeling a little personal for you in Moonlight Sonata.
You see this dog in my lap? Do you see
Derek
this
is
dog with a ball in my
Currently
lap?
wielding a dog with a dryer ball in her mouth right now.
I need you to understand how hard it is to play Moonlight Sonata.
Do you think this dog can play Moonlight Sonata?
I need you to understand.
Can you play the third movement of Moonlight Sonata?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I'm
play,
a dog. I can
play with your little paws. She's just sitting here with this ball in her mouth right now.
She's gonna get us clout.
Her name is Ori, and she's adorable. She's adorable. Bye, Ori. Thanks for guesting on our podcast. So she starts playing Moonlight Sonata,
Yeah.
and Derek was pretty pissed because she
was
never
annoyed.
gets to the third movement. Obviously, she's not going to
Let
get there.
me clarify. I do love the Moonlight Sonata.
course,
It's
of course.
just
No hate.
It's just like, yeah, why are you only playing the first movement? Huh?
Why are you doing that,
Play the
you
third
know?
movement. It's hard.
It is kind of funny though. They do one of those establishing shots where it's like it shows her hands. They're playing the piano. It slowly pans up to her face. So you know this actress is really playing Moonlight Sonata.
No, she wasn't.
It's not one of those where like in Lisa Frankenstein, it is very obvious that Cole Sprouse is not playing the piano for real, which is fine. Like sometimes it takes a lot to learn, and like if you're whatever. So then we get this really good shot that I love. Actually, we see a shot where she is sitting playing the piano. There's a mirror directly above the piano on the wall that she is not looking at. In the reflection, we can see behind her in an armchair, perfectly in frame of this mirror, is one of the strangers with like this burlap mask on, who I start calling the Burlap Man. Apparently, he's known as the Scarecrow.
Yep.
But I'm going to keep going by the ones that I called him. So this is Burlap Man. Burlap Man is just sitting eerie in this chair, looking really creepy, just watching, not doing anything, just sitting and staring. And it does that thing you call the nun effect, where it goes away and comes back, and he's gone.
Which I loved this whole shot though.
It was beautiful. I loved it.
So creepy. It was very effective. Just the way he was like sitting there tapping his foot, watching her directly behind her,
just staring.
But the way that they all teleport in and out of shots, there's got to be some supernatural element
some
here.
spooky going on here, right? There's no way there can't be. But I do enjoy the fact that like I love a movie where a killer is in no hurry to get to their victims, because like there's something about that is even scarier, where they're like, I know I'm gonna get you. It's like a Michael Myers kind of thing, right? Where it's like he walks towards all of his victims. He's not gonna run or anything like that. Like he just takes his time. He'll get there eventually. And same thing with this. These strangers, the bad guys in this one, take their damn time with it,
do.
because they know that they got him in the palms of their hands. They're like, we're like, no rush. You take your time. We'll get to you when we're ready for you. Yeah. So yeah, so that was there's spooky stuff going on in the house. Ryan stops by for some food, and some townsfolk try to invite him to drink with them. Like there's another moment where they're really racist against vegetarians, and people keep trying to hand him preachy flyers.
Can I yell about this?
Yeah, yell.
I'm not going to yell. I'm going to actually be calm about it.
I'm going to be super cool.
What? No, I'm just kidding. No, okay. He orders a burger, and he's like, "Can I get a burger and another burger, but no meat? No meat." So you're telling me that this motherfucker, for his girlfriend of 5 years, who you just abandoned in a cabin,
you're right.
He ordered her.
Now I'm mad.
2 pieces of bread with
cheese?
some cheese, some lettuce, some pickles and onions, maybe, and some ketchup. That's it?
Like what?
You're gonna eat that? That's just not gonna do anything for you. That's disgusting. What are you doing?
Insane behavior.
Criminal.
I really
Honestly,
had not
why
thought
not
about the fact that
French
they have been dating for 5 years, and he's like, yeah, you like this. You like bread, right? You're a vegetarian.
Come on, babe. You just don't want the meat, right? You'll eat anything just without meat.
Absolute insane.
It's stupid. It's upsetting. As someone who makes vegetarian meals all the time, I'm upset about this.
100%. So now, cut back to so basically, man has completed his mission. On his motorcycle, he got the food. He's on his way back. He got his inhaler, the food, heading back home. The Maya, she takes a shower, and as she's taking a shower, first of all, if I was creeped out, I would not be taking a shower.
Why put yourself in the literal most vulnerable place you could be?
Exactly. Literally, no matter how old I get.
She must have seen Psycho.
Every time I could close my eyes in the shower, and I'm like, got the suds washing down to my eyes, there's a small part of me. It's like, I could get murdered right now. This is the time. I'm going to get psychoed.
3 seconds when you close your eyes are death.
Every time, every single time. And yet she's like, no, a shower's a good idea. She even like turns to the wall, not facing the rest of the room, is like literally almost rubbing her eyes completely with the soap.
And of course the Scarecrow guy's just standing there watching.
Burlap Man is standing. It's one of those, it's a glass shower so you can see through it. And he's just standing right behind her, just sitting.
Why wouldn't he be?
Watching her.
Why wouldn't it?
Without her noticing.
It doesn't make any sense that he would be.
Of course.
Wouldn't be.
And again, it's one of those turns away, turns back, he's gone again, right? He's a quick son of a gun. And so she finishes her shower. As she's blow drying her hair, all of the power goes out in the house. Yep. So she wanders with nothing but her phone light to guide her, and she gets jump scared by a woman in like this cartoony Betty Boop-esque mask. And I think that one is referred to as Dollface. Yep. Is that one? I called her Betty Boop the whole time. So she runs and hides, and so like the gig is up now. Now she knows there are people in this house for sure. They're inside. There's no stopping
mix
them.
Up Dollface and Pinup Girl.
Dollface and Pinup were kind of they were
pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, they were.
Can we go by small child and old woman?
Sure, yeah. So Betty Boop is small child here. So they stalk around the house looking for Maya. They're like, you can hear their footsteps, and then they're going to open the door. Turns out it's just Ryan. He made it back okay.
Oh, welcome, dude.
Welcome back. Yeah, it's good to see you.
And he's like, oh, honey, see this creepy painting of a clown that's in 4 of these bedrooms?
Yeah.
Here, that was what scared you.
Yeah, because he rescues her. He restores the power pretty easily, and she's super spooked. He's not buying her story very very much, and he shows her this
Asshole.
painting of a clown, right?
Yeah.
That's just seemingly in every room.
In
I
every
guess.
room in this house.
He's like, babe, do you think maybe this is what you saw? He's in front of the camera, moves out of the shot, then it focuses on the clown picture in the background.
I have a theory.
You have a theory?
It's been like 20 episodes.
What's your
since I've had a
theory?
My theory, they didn't have enough money to decorate every room in this house, so they just moved the decorations for each set.
It's like one of those like extreme home makeover things where like in reality they only actually redo like two rooms of the
yeah.
house. Yeah, it's one of those situations. But so he's like, now honey, were you maybe smoking a little
You're
bit?
just doing a little bit of
So-
smoke.
So he blames the weed. He's like, listen, you're a little stressed.
Which is just
you're in a
not
new environment."
understanding the weed as a drug.
Really, though.
Because there's no way smoking weed would give you that kind of a hallucination.
Absolutely not. But now, more banging on the door. And Ryan is getting pretty pissed about it. He's like, all right, I've had enough of this. I'm Ryan. I'm the man in the story. AI wrote me.
This was the most acting he gave the entire movie. though.
Entire time. He can only play one emotion, and that is mad. And so the girl is standing in the road again, menacingly, just way off in the
Tamara
distance.
here?
And he starts approaching her. Then
Tamara
starts
here?
Then running at her, and then she just runs out into the distance. We don't see her. So they go back inside. They go in to eat their burgers, and things seem okay for a moment.
This is the worst.
He is just slopping a bunch of like he must have like taken a half a bottle of ketchup and poured it all over this burger.
You're
goes,
disgusting.
Daddy love a good ketchup
I can't
burger.
believe I'm dating you.
Oh, you're a
Yo.
disgust. You're so gross.
Yo.
Wow, you're so sloppy and messy.
Oh, you want me to give you a kiss, baby, while I'm covered in
He
ketchup?
just has ketchup all over his face and he thinks he's cute. It's obnoxious.
I don't understand why someone would take. Okay, so in filming, there's a thing called continuity.
I've heard of this.
And there are certain things that are hard to be done with continuity,
Yes.
like smearing ketchup all over your face. So maybe try and do that in one take.
One take. Maybe.
They definitely did not because the ketchup kept moving.
Yep.
It was like every time it shot back to him, it was like, oh, ketchup's there now. Oh, nope, there it is.
now
Oh,
there's
that's all
ketchup.
clean.
It's on the ceiling somehow. Because actually, so he's dripping the slop of ketchup onto the table, but then suddenly it isn't ketchup falling above their heads.
Oh, no,
it's a strung up
it's blood.
chicken.
It's
There's
a-
blood
that a
bleeding
chicken?
bleeding out. I think so. Well, because
Oh, there were chickens
there's a
outside.
chicken coop outside of this little cabin.
I forgot
that they're
about
at.
those cock blocks.
So now they scream like, "Oh God, there's a dead chicken above us!" So they go to lock the door of the house, and then the burlap man is done sneaking around. Just
done.
takes a full axe and is breaking down this whole door. And so yeah, they're home. The
You know,
strangers are here.
It was really nice of the burlap man, though. He just like breaks down the middle panel of the door and then leaves.
Yeah.
And thus ensues some of the worst acting I've ever seen in the movie. They sit there, they look up, they're like, are they gone? Oh, they must be gone. Let's leave now.
This really bothers me because Burlap Man is in the house. Betty Boop comes down the stairs, and a third woman in a mask makes her appearance. This is the pinup character that I called. I don't remember what I called her. In a less cartoony mask, like a dark-haired. Oh, Flapper. That's what I said. Like a dark-haired 1920s Flapper is what I called her. So they taunt the couple by playing some songs on the piano while they're locked in this room, right?
They were playing Moonlight Sonata.
Yes, they were playing the same song that Maya was playing, which is really funny. But this is what really upsets me. Burlap Man breaks down the door where they're hiding and then leaves.
Yeah.
And then 30 seconds pass by.
Not even, dude. It was like 10 seconds. They're like, are they gone now? Okay. Well, we could go.
Yeah, and then Ryan goes like literally to the door where there's a hole in it where a man was busting it down with an axe. He's like, nope, they're gone. I'm like, there's no goddamn way they're gone. What are you
me right now?
talking about?
I understand you're in a troublesome situation, but maybe formulate a plan inside that room.
Yes.
And not try to just leave the room.
Yeah, they really did not wait enough time before going out on an attempt to escape. So they're like, what are we going to do? We don't have a car. He's like, babe, the motorcycle. I know how to drive a motorcycle. So they go outside and the motorcycle goes up in this big flash of flames. It's not necessarily an explosion. Like the motorcycle doesn't explode. It just goes up in flames. You see Burlap Man walk away with like a thing of like gasoline in his hand. And it was fine. Nothing exploded. It was just like a big
The way they
fire
reacted
burst.
to it was so unbelievable, though. They're
Really,
like, oh, I
though?
totally expected that to be on fire.
Yeah,
That's cool.
They're like, oh, okay. I am, however, enjoying like the showmanship of the strangers right now.
They're
Like,
great.
they're toying
They're
with their
doing a
food.
really
They've got
good-
a whole
yeah.
production here. Like they're always one step ahead, and it is very fun to like kind of watch them antagonize this couple
It
here. Right?
kind of helps that I feel nothing for the couple because
Yes.
I'm just focusing on the way that they're being tortured.
Really,
or
though.
tormented.
So they go back in the house and hide. Maya's like, oh, it's an old house. Maybe they've got like a crawl space under the floorboards. And they do. So they're trying to sneak away under the floorboards. She just dead center of her hand impales it on a nail underneath. And I will say, she did a good job of like, yelping and then covering her mouth, like trying not to make a sound.
Well, that doesn't matter though, because they're talking full volume.
That's
they're like
the
yelling
problem,
at each other.
though. And they're like quietly screaming at each other while they're trying to sneak away in the situation. But
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Ryan goes to pull it out. She has to stifle another scream as to not give them away. There's like the stranger stepping just directly above them, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, it was a decently tense scene. I kind of enjoyed it, but there wasn't much to it, right?
Yeah.
One thing I will give to this movie that does very well is lighting up the night scenes.
Yes.
Like, how many movies have we seen that are shot, especially in today's age, where like it is shot at night and it is just too goddamn dark to see anything.
Absolutely.
This movie is actually very well lit at night. I actually really enjoyed it for that purpose, because a lot of these sequences actually take place outside of the house in the surrounding woods, and they are very well lit. So like, mad ups to you guys for actually doing a good job at lighting these nighttime scenes.
Absolutely.
So they escape the crawl space and make for the shed, and they literally, let's go for the shed.
Let's go for the shed, babe.
Like, you could have just as easily been like get her attention, point to the shed, and be like, we're going that way, right? Instead of literally advertising to the world where you were about to go, right?
Yeah.
But Ryan drops his inhaler on the way as he rolls his ankle for some stupid reason.
He just like trips. He just trips. And then he's limping the rest of the movie. Well, not the rest of the movie, but for like the next scene, and
But
then
he
all of a sudden
didn't
he's fine.
trip like that hard, right?
No, he's a little wimp.
So they make it into the shed, and in the darkness there, they can't see anything, but the girl brings out a lighter that she used for when she was smoking, right? So like the lighter, it kind of became relevant in a sense. So she turns on the lighter, it illuminates the room, showing the flapper girl directly behind them,
Love that.
unnoticed.
Love that.
And I literally wrote here, I don't know if the strangers are really good at what they do, or if this couple is just stupid.
They are.
They
are stupid.
Because she's like literally less than a foot behind them. Like, you would, in your peripheral vision, you would see that.
You would feel the presence of someone there.
That is a thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way that you didn't notice this. But this guy, Ryan, is an idiot because he decides to split them up again. He's like, babe, you stay in the shed. I'm going to go look for something, right?
Yeah.
And like, has he never watched Scooby-Doo? You don't split up.
You never
especially
split
in a
up.
horror, like when you're being chased by an axe-wielding maniac right now,
I'm
right?
convinced this man is an idiot.
Yeah, he's probably an idiot. So he splits up. Ryan finds a gun, which is great because he finds it just as the girl was being attacked by the burlap man, like through a window that was behind her.
And I appreciate him just firing. too.
Yeah, he straight just boo, and it scares them off like wild animals. They're like, oh shit, he's got a gun, we're gonna run away.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the fact that like this gun is not gonna stop them. They just have to go and like, we gotta rethink our plan now. Now he's got a gun that provides a challenge for us, but we're prepared, we're methodical, we got this, like no problem, right? So there's never a moment where I was like, oh, this gun is definitely gonna get the best of them, right? Now it feels almost like a Resident Evil movie as this
dude.
pair walks around. He's like, you're
a
having the
survival
gun
game.
guiding their path. It felt almost like a video game for a second.
I kind of liked that.
I thought it
for
wasn't
the
bad.
second that it happened.
But then Ryan hears jostling on the front door. He turns around the corner. He's like, babe, you wait here. I got this. He turns, he shoots, he scores. He kills someone.
Okay.
He kills someone.
This is the moment.
Who was
Remember
it?
at the beginning of the movie, I was like, there's a moment later on in the movie where he seems broken and he has a glitch. This is the moment.
Yes.
He stands there, and instead of like investigating to see if he shot and killed somebody, or like if anything happened, checked who it was or anything like that, he kind of just turns around and he's like, all right, babe, well, that's it. We did it. We shot him. Okay.
I got him.
He's dead. He like literally like poses himself in like this like hands on hips sort of way.
So proud of himself.
It really felt like a glitch in the Matrix where he's
Yes.
just like, what do I do now?
Uh-huh.
I shoot gun and man die.
and man died.
Okay, I win. Beep,
But
boop.
Derek, take a closer look at that body. Who did he shoot?
Oh shit, he killed Jim the repairman.
He killed the owner of the house who was there to repair the fridge.
He killed me.
He killed you, Jim.
It's me, Jim.
How are you feeling? You got shot in the face.
I'm missing half my face.
Is that a problem for you? You cool about that?
No, I'll regrow it. Bye.
Oh, okay. Well, he is an eldritch being, I
miss
suppose.
him. He doesn't come out
I think
as much.
Math Jane could probably help him out with that. But yeah, so he shot
She's
the
good at
owner
his
of the
face.
house dead. Actually, I did like the they had a pretty decent prosthetic.
the
on his-
prosthetic was cool.
on his face, but it was kind of like in the background. He was like laying away from the camera, so you can only kind of half see it, and like it looks really good. I wish I got a better shot of it.
I get what they were going for here, and it was slightly effective in like a way of like, oh god, they killed that guy who was very innocent. Like that's scary. That honestly was like the scariest part of the movie for
and they
me.
never really like. I don't.
But
feel
it
like
never gets addressed.
I never felt like they felt the weight of that. Like I
No.
understand that
No.
they are like in a scary situation. Like you just killed a dude.
No, he did like the cliche hands on the head, sit down thing.
God.
What
I
if
just
I
killed some? Yeah, they're being hunted, and they stop to have a moment about this. It's like, now's not the time, guys.
Yeah.
We gotta.
And this would hold up in a court of law. You're like it's I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This whole thing bothered me so much.
But I do enjoy the fact they don't waste a good opportunity because he drove here in a car and he had his keys in his hand. So they do steal his keys to go steal his car. Time for a getaway. And like, as fucked up as it is, that's probably the smartest thing they can be doing right now, right? The motorcycle got lit up in flames. They have nothing else to do. So as they're trying to speed out of here, the car does work. It works perfectly fine. They're going to drive out. Suddenly, Burlap Man and his big old Ford truck just starts ramming into them over and over again. They're always one step ahead of these guys. And I love that about them. So yeah, Burlap Man just keeps ramming into it, and then Ryan's leg gets stuck in the car. He can't get out. So it's like, go, I love you, live on without me. I can't get out of here. So then she runs away. Ryan does manage to get free, get his leg out of the car, and then he like shoots out the windshield because the Burlap Man is like right in front of the car, right? Yeah, he like supernaturally dodges a bullet from a
he
shotgun.
shoots the shotgun and he just dodges out of the way.
Like, so yeah, so he ends up getting his leg free. He smashes through the busted windshield, and now his leg is really busted. This is a good reason to be limping instead of just his trip earlier.
I have like 4 separate notes about how they only are playing Movement 1 of Moonlight Sonata.
Will you read them to me, please?
It's just like, fucking Moonlight Sonata. Oh, only Movement 1, huh? Oh, you're going to just play Moonlight Sonata 1? Oh, what's your problem?
I love that these are the important things. You're like, I gotta write that. That's good.
I'm sitting in the theater. Just like, oh, just play Moonlight Sonata 1, huh?
Gotta bring this one up on the podcast.
No one knows Movement 3, old Derek.
You afraid of
young
Movement
Derek?
3?
What are you doing?
You know who will play Movement 3? Tamara. Tamara will play Movement 3.
Oh, maybe she did. Maybe that's...
So now they've been split off, right? Maya has run somewhere into the woods. Ryan is going somewhere. And our friend Seth actually brought up a good point. Burlap Man left the Ford truck running. Why wouldn't he then take that truck and get the hell out of there?
He should have just ran.
Probably should have.
It doesn't really
that.
make any sense.
No, especially if his leg is busted. Anyway, now Maya's running aimlessly through the woods, calmly followed by Betty Boop, the dollface, with her machete.
Okay, this scene was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Her walking through the woods, pretty creepy.
There's something about the way they set up all these shots in the woods. There was like some fog rolling in. Again, very well lit.
Yeah.
The angles are really cool.
Camera
I loved all
good.
these walking through the woods shots a lot, actually.
This scene got me.
Yeah,
a little
they were
bit.
super good. So Maya hides under like some tree leaves and brush under a gap in this big bridge, which we did see in the opening sequence when the dude was running away from the strangers.
I'm convinced. I'm predicting it now. That's some sort of like ritual.
It's
space.
got to be, or at the very least, like a trap, right? Because there's a broken bridge. If you fall down, it looked like maybe there were like spikes or something.
There had to be.
I don't understand. So I think maybe it was meant to be a trap or maybe some sacrificial thing,
It
right?
has to be.
But so she
If
hides.
it's not, I'm writing.
She hides herself fairly well in the dark. She stole from the homeowner that they shot in his car. He had a cell phone.
Yeah.
So she stole his phone. She's calling 911. She's like, please, I need you to get me. They're out here, please. And then, like many tropes, her phone signal starts to go out. She's in the middle of the woods, can't get good reception out here, right? So she gives them as much info as possible before the signal starts to go out.
She's being so loud.
Again, whispering just quietly screaming,
But
not
then,
even
like,
whispering.
the 911 operator can't hear her. I'm like,
Yeah.
she is so loud. How can I hear her?
But she is able to tell her an Airbnb in Venus, Oregon, right? And that's basically, apparently there's only one of those, so it's enough information for them. But then, the call drops and such. Then she turns next to her in this ditch and sees this rotting corpse.
And screams full volume.
Yeah, she screams straight up at them, covers her mouth again. And then Betty Boop, who was pursuing her this whole time, just walks away. She's like, okay, well, I guess I'm safe. Again, not giving it enough time before she's like, all right, well, let's go on and leave this area.
She was
stay
safe.
there.
I would stay there.
They didn't know she was there.
I
She
just
could've-
go to sleep.
She could have stayed there the rest of the night.
I'd just go to sleep. Wake up.
Exactly. But instead, she runs further into the woods, spotted by Betty Boop, who knocks her out in one easy swing. No
Drags her
problem. Absolutely. And, if she had stayed, she probably could have survived.
She should have
Probably
stayed.
could have lived. Probably could have made it out of there. So now, Burlap Man and Flapper are stalking Ryan through the foggy woods. This was my favorite of the shots in this.
Yes,
like
this one was really
seeing
good.
Scarecrow and Pinup, I think are their official names, walking throughout the woods was very, very good. I
Yeah.
loved these shots a lot. Ryan is not hiding his location very well. He keeps calling out for Maya and wheezing because he needs his inhaler pretty bad. The inhaler never really makes a lot of sense. He does this thing. I don't know if this actually works as well as it did. He finds in a collection of random detritus here in this woods, he finds a water bottle that has some water in it. He dumps out the water. He twists the water bottle so that it is completely tight and then pops it open. Have you guys ever done that? If you do that, it has this weird like smoky effect where like some of the air like comes out of it. Is that enough to be a replacement for an inhaler? I have no idea if that's actually what that can do. Like, do you have anything on that, Derek? Are you researching right now?
I'm researching right now.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually, but the thing is, it's like, it almost works like an item in a video game where he takes that and is like completely revitalized after something like that. It was just like a really funny, weird moment that they added in this, and I'm like, I don't know enough about that to disprove that. But it felt really unnecessary that he had that happen, that they had the inhaler be an important thing at all.
So it seems like what he did in theory could work. He like crumbles up the bottle and then like condenses the air in it and then just like sucks it in really quick. So couple things. Well, here, Science Jim. Yeah, you got it. Okay, thanks. So like in theory, what he's doing makes a little bit of sense. However, he needs an albuterol inhaler. The medication in that is what is helping him. It is not sucking
just
something.
Air.
He is just sucking air at this moment.
There's no medicine
which
in
like
that.
Okay, I could see, because like in vocal exercises, sometimes we'll do a thing where we suck in air really, really fast and it constricts the lungs and kind of relaxes them. That could, in theory, be what he is doing.
Okay.
Where he is causing some sort of like quick burst of air into his lungs.
Okay.
Which the adrenaline could like slow it down. But if he has as bad of asthma as he is saying, he would need that albuterol medication.
Absolutely.
And some people have used plastic bottles as what they call spacers to basically bridge the gap between the albuterol and your mouth so that there's more air and it kind of pushes
I have
it
actually
into
seen
your
those, like a
lungs.
big, it's like you're adding a mod to your inhaler.
Exactly. Yeah. You had bling. So I'm skeptical.
Yeah, it's
My biggest
it's
thing about
almost
this,
enough.
though,
Yeah.
is he's like, okay, I can't breathe. Let me grab the loudest thing next to me.
Good Lord, it was so loud. Just the as he like
Crinkle up this
go
bottle.
try it. Take a plastic water bottle, twist it in half in the middle. It is the loudest goddamn sound you will ever hear.
Come on, Doug.
It's so funny. And yet, somehow, even after that, he manages to get the drop on the pinup girl, which is I don't understand how he did that, but he manages to sneak up behind her, holding the shotgun right to the back of her head. Tells her to drop her weapon, and she complies, laughing a little bit, and then turning around and just like really taunting him, just being like, do it, pull the trigger, right? Yeah. She taunts him, dancing around the barrel of the gun, laughing at it like a maniac. And so he's like, he has the corniest line. He's like, you know how they say your first kill is the hardest? Well, you're not my first kill. I'm like, are you like
proud?
Are you glorifying the fact that you killed that
happy?
innocent old man?
Fucker.
It's kind of fucked up. But so he's like, this is my second kill. Cocks a shotgun. Just as he is about to pull the trigger, Burlap Man takes a running start at him and then knocks him out with the blunt end of the axe.
Which is
like,
great.
Of course. Why not? Like, just take the shot. God damn it.
At this moment, or a little bit before this, that I looked at my watch and I knew how long the runtime was. And I leaned to Isaac and I was like, there's 8 minutes left of this movie.
Where is it going to go?
Where is it going to go?
So now we're back home. Ryan and Maya are tied up and they have a far too long moment where they're consoling each other as they're tied up. Oh, I love you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Marry
this
me.
is all because of me. And he goes, will you marry me? She's like, right now? He's like, yeah. Oh, yes, I will marry you. I really don't. Bring in the strangers, please.
You know the best part about this that
What's
I
the best
realized
part?
after? The strangers were standing there watching them.
It never shows them in the shots. It's just shots of Ryan and Maya, but they're literally standing a foot in front of them, just like silently watching them, I guess.
What the fuck?
What is happening? But so, yeah, now the strangers are there. And then a knife right into Ryan's chest. Way to cut that moment that I didn't like. Just like straight into his gut.
I was actually kind of happy with how quick they just offed him.
Oh, yeah, so fast.
It's like, okay, he's gone.
Yeah, so the strangers stand right before them, looking pretty cool, not going to lie. There's something about the way they just like stand doing nothing, just in
like
this little
their
trio.
design a lot.
I like them a lot, right? So then Burlap Man goes and kicks Ryan's chair over and he just bleeds out onto the ground, dead. He's dead, he's done. And then, I don't know. There's an iconic line from the original Strangers movie where the girl says, "Why are you doing this to us?" And they respond, "Because you were home."
Yes.
And like that's a kick-ass line. I love it. It's iconic.
Yeah.
And in this one, they kind of do it just slightly worse. She says, "Why are you doing this to us?" And she says, "Because you're here." And there's something about that difference between because you were home and because you're here that is slightly different.
Can I express one of my things about that line?
Absolutely.
It is a very effective line. I think that line is still effective. It has been ruined because it has been in every trailer for this movie.
Yes.
And like, I know
giving away their best line.
Trailers, like, are whatever. Like, you don't watch trailers, that's fine. If you watch trailers, it's fine. Giving away such an iconic line and such a like impactful line really ruins the entire vibe.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
However, it is an effective thing because to me, we watch so many horror movies,
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
right? And not all of them get to me to my core that really spook me. The ones that do make me feel something a little bit are the ones where, like, in a very realistic situation. This is at the end of the day just a home invasion movie, right?
Yeah.
And that is
Those are scary. I
those
hate
are
that.
Very scary to me, right? And especially like this reasoning here, because there's no reason. It's not like we have some ulterior motive. We need to use you for something. Their flat out reasoning for antagonizing, terrifying, and then eventually killing these people is just because they happen to be the ones that were here. You were just here, and that is why we chose you, and that's terrifying.
I do think
That's a scary concept.
talking about this line change, I think that they changed it very deliberately, and I'm curious to. Okay, we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
Remind me to talk about it in a second.
We're talking about it in a
my
second.
theory for the next movie.
Gotcha. So then, she says, why are you doing this? They give their scary reasoning. Burlap Man stands before Maya, gets the big knife, and Maya gets one final "fuck you" before he stabs her real good. One star I will give her for her performance. She does give a pretty good death cry when she gets stabbed.
Yeah, she did.
She screams pretty well. A good screamer, so good for you. But yeah,
Bad crier, though.
Stabs her real good. No happy endings in this one, I guess. And her chair also gets knocked over. She just bleeds out. So I'm just like, well, I guess the strangers win. I wasn't really expecting that, but then they start to hear sirens in the distance. So I guess her phone call to the police was effective. So now they're coming. So the strangers they don't run. They don't hurry. They slowly exit out the house, cool as cucumbers. Yep. They load into their Ford and they get out of town. They literally take a turn right as the cops are turning the corner. So they just narrowly dodge them.
Honestly, one of the best parts of the whole movie.
I really liked it. But again,
it just worked.
I love the fact that they were in no hurry. There was no rush to them. They were not nervous. They're like, let's get out of here. The cops are on their way. Let's go.
Deliberate. It showed that this was not their first time.
Yes. So Maya somehow survived. She wakes up in a rainy hospital room, and then it says, "To be continued." And the credits start playing.
And then as we were walking out the theater,
we were literally leaving.
We were like in the hallway going down, about to leave. There's this freaking after credit scene of him being in the bed with her.
Yep. She literally it's back in the hospital room. She looks around. She's like, huh. She leans up from the bed, laying next to her in a hospital bed, which is small.
How do you
burlap
not
man.
notice this man?
You would notice the weight of a human body next to you on a bed.
So theory time.
Idiots.
I want to real quick talk about my theories.
And that's all. That's all it is. Theory time.
Yeah, that's the end. Okay, my theory there's a couple things that I think could happen in the next 2 chapters of this movie, and I'd like to hear what your opinions are as well. What I would like to happen first, I think that it would be really cool if we saw the next movie from the quote-unquote stranger's perspective. Because I like the idea that both parties of people in this movie are strangers, right? They're strangers to a town.
Yep.
The strangers are strangers who are attacking them in their house. I like that
Really,
concept.
who's the stranger? You know, if you're a stranger and you're a stranger, who's driving this Ford?
Who's driving the stranger? I think it would be really cool for them to flip it and kind of give that approach. Like, let us follow these strangers.
That would be really entertaining,
right?
honestly.
And see what they're doing. It's obviously like some sort of family. You know, they're doing something.
It's the family business.
Another thing that I think would be really cool is if it was supernatural. Like maybe they exist out in the woods and the people in the town give them people as basically like a sacrifice, or something like that. They're like, let's send these people out, because there's a lot of things in the movie that would make sense like that. You're here, we're killing you because you're here. You are our sacrifice. You know, I don't think that one's gonna happen. I don't feel like they're going that way.
That's a lot of
but I would
to
love for
happen.
that.
I think that'd be really cool.
What I do think is very possible is for us to follow them. I also think it would be cool. I'm sorry, I've thought about this a lot. I also think it would be cool is if the second movie, chapter 2, was actually chapter 1 again from their perspective.
I think that'd be really cool, getting the same exact story, but from a completely different angle, seeing how they sneak in and out of these places, how they set the motorcycle on fire, how they knew they were going to drive their truck into them.
I think that would be cool, and maybe learn a little bit of backstory to what's going on there, and then the third movie can be the culmination of the story.
Yes, and I think if done really well, it could be really cool. Like not a boring thing like, oh well, we already saw this movie, we know what's going to happen. I think they could put a really fun twist on it. That's a really cool idea.
I don't really want a sequel that's just them killing another couple.
Right, because that's the thing. At the end of the day, nothing really happened in this movie. A serial killer got their victim. It's it.
And it took a long time.
It took forever.
This movie was only an hour and a half, and it felt like 3 hours.
It really did drag
because there was
out, for
not
sure.
a lot happening.
But yeah, I'm with you. I would really like to see something a little more supernatural going on. I would also like to get they set up something really good with the townsfolk
Yes,
here.
give us more
and the
town.
spookiness of that. I would love to see and know, like, maybe they're not the killers, but like they know about it and like they're in on it somehow, or at the very least they're complacent in it. You know, they're like, we don't mess with them and they don't mess with us, kind of thing. You know.
Well, and I like the idea. It's kind of like the mean one, right? Where they like send people to die.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, well, if we give them a couple people a
Then
year,
they won't bother
then
us.
they won't bother us.
Exactly.
I like that idea.
But I would also like to see like maybe a thing happen where, because like me personally, I want to go after this trilogy of movies and never see who the real strangers are. I would love that. But I would love for there to be a moment in like the second or maybe even the third one where they're like, they unmask someone and it's just a random townsfolk. It's like, oh God, they're doing the old bait and switch where it's like, oh, you think it's them, but no, then here's the real burlap man. You know, you never know who's the real person at the end of the day.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I would like to see something like that. But shall we discuss our expectations?
Let's do it.
So for me, my first expectation was that the Riverdale Scarlet Witch, Madeline Petch, is not going to work for me. And yeah, there's something about her face that I cannot take seriously. There's something like cartoony about her like reactions, and I don't know. It did not work for me. And her performance in this really did not help any of that stuff.
I have a question for you real quick
What's up?
before we do this. Do you remember someone who was Ghost Skull or someone who was Witch Face?
No, I do not.
Because in the credits for this movie, there are the three people,
Right.
with Scarecrow double, Dollface double, Pinup double, and then you have Ghost Skull double and Witch Face double.
Who the hell are they? I want to know more about these.
I would like to know who these two people
Are we getting a little bit of like a sneak peek here?
I think maybe
Are we
we're getting a little
more
bit of sneak peek.
strangers?
Well, so in one of the shots of the movie when she's hiding in the closet, there are two masks hanging up inside the closet.
There was something
and I
about
leaned
that
over
shot.
to you and I said, those are going to be masks in the next movie.
I kind of want to go back and see what those masks were like, because they seemed like
if they're Ghost Face and Witch Face.
they seemed a little like almost like vintage Halloween masks almost.
Which, I mean, their masks are kind of that way too. So it's like
I'm very curious about that. So what was your first
they got me.
expectation?
They got me curious. Sorry, I just saw that and had
They
to
got
bring
me
that up.
curious.
Stupid story. Not much of a story, honestly. It was
really.
an attempt at a story.
Yeah.
Especially like the story of their relationship did not work for me.
hated it.
But the story, it left too much out for it to be captivating.
Absolutely. I said misses every spooky point it wants to make, and there were actually some decent moments that felt a little scary. There was some decent tension built up throughout. Like, I definitely don't feel like it wasn't a scary horror movie, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, was it incredibly effective? Not necessarily.
Forced as hell jumps. I mean, always, man.
All the time.
There's so many. We didn't even talk about it. I feel like it's so cliche to talk about at this point. There are so many jump scares in these
You
movies.
can just assume that it's
It
going
was
to be a
like
part
in
of
the
it, right?
hundreds.
Oh, yeah. I said no good kills because there were just the two of them, right? And I was definitely right on this
Yeah,
one.
you were right.
I think the only one that I kind of like was the kill at the very beginning with the guy with Burlap Man going with him on the axe, and that was just like, it was effective, you know?
Yeah.
The main characters just got stabbed real good and then knocked over in their chair. And I'm not saying every kill has to be a big and crazy extravagant show, but like I do feel like they need to be effective. And these kills were not incredibly effective after trying to make you care about these characters for a whole movie. One last ditch effort of them being like, we're getting married, I love you.
Yeah. Bleh.
Wasn't very effective.
Some sort of supernatural element, maybe. I hope so.
Let's
There were
hope.
some allusions to it. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. I said we'll get into the action faster than expected, and I was right on this one too. There wasn't a ton of setup before we actually got to the isolated cabin where the stranger started to toy with the couple.
Yeah.
It did take a little bit, but it was the action did come sooner than I was, anticipating at first.
Absolutely. A terrible cliffhanger. Really? I mean, yeah, dude. Okay, so yes, it left off for another movie. But it could have done that with them just being dead and them driving off. We don't need freaking Miss Riverdale to come back because she was something, she was a character in this movie. And I like to allude to Isaac how I feel about her performance because I think it's funny.
I don't know if he likes her or not. I cannot tell.
I mean, who knows? She's an actress. She's not an actress. It is what it is.
But
she's great. She's awful.
I just hate the fact that they gave us like, okay, now she's alive in the hospital.
Yes.
And then immediately pulled the rug out from under that and be like, oh, but the Burlap Man is here too. Scarecrow's in the building.
We were talking about this before recording. Like, it really felt like the director was like, haha, guys, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are good come
No,
into this.
no.
Wait.
I'll make you wait. I'll make you wait till chapter
He's
2.
in the bed.
No, I
He's
can't
in the
wait.
bed. Oh.
I can't wait anymore. You guys, look, he's in the bed. He's totally in the bed.
It's like when you have a friend who's a writer and they're excited for you to see their show, but they're so proud of the ending they tell it to you before you go see the show.
more relatable for the two of us. It's like when didn't either of us write a D&D campaign?
Yes.
And we just desperately want to tell the other one about it because we're playing in each other's games.
Emily knows all of my D&D campaign stuff because I'm always so excited about it that I just
have to tell someone. And then I said my final expectation was the 3 villains will be my favorite. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. They're creepy killers in masks. What's not to love about them?
Exactly.
And fortunately for them, they don't actually have to say many or any lines. And so they really worked for me. I love a good creepy masked killer.
They were fun. Weird attempt at the whole one room gimmick. I kind of. It was like one location.
One location, yeah.
But I don't know. It was kind of an attempt, though. It didn't really work for me in the same way that most one room stories work.
Yeah.
Like the movie Hush is a very similar movie made by Mike Flanagan. And it does it really, really well. It does that one room isolation really, really well. This movie, I never felt like they were isolated.
Yes.
I felt like they could run away at any moment.
No, absolutely. Surprises?
Oh, yeah. There were 3 kills in this movie.
Yeah, literally. The couple and then the guy at the beginning. So nothing huge to mention.
Jim, the fridge repairman.
Oh, wait, so that's 4.
No, because she didn't die. So it was guy at the beginning, repairman, and the husband.
You're right. So surprises. This movie I feel could actually be saved by its sequel. We've done a lot of talking about that, right? And there are plans for 2 more, right? And I feel like there was some decent world building in this one. And we know so little about all the rest of that stuff. If that's expounded upon, like right there, there might be something to this movie, right? I feel like this movie has the potential to be made good or better by its sequels.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But also there's a lot riding on those ones.
Yep. The second one can make or break this franchise.
Really though, and it'll make me want to be like, okay, either I want to see the third one or maybe I'll skip the third one.
It's like Dune. I loved the first Dune, but Dune Part 2 made Dune 1 so much
even better, right?
So anyway,
and that's just the best part.
It's just the nature of a sequel.
That's how you know a sequel is great, right? I said I liked the music used throughout. Like right out the gate, the music was kind of a notable character in the story that really helped drive the fear and anxiousness in the film when our 2 leading characters really did not.
They weren't there.
They weren't there. Outdoor lighting. This has been such a bother to me in so many films in recent years. Nobody knows how to properly light outdoor nighttime scenes.
It's like that one episode of Game of Thrones.
But this movie got it pretty well, and I really appreciate that. You're right. It is just like the Game of Thrones episode
because it's all dark.
Yeah.
You can't see it's a big battle. It's like the biggest battle in the franchise. It's completely dark.
Big thumbs up to this one. I know the dark is scary, but we do still have to understand what's happening in this movie, right? And then how I was surprised by how much I enjoyed most everything that wasn't our main couple. They just did not work for me. But the strangers themselves were creepy.
Even
I liked
the people in the town.
Yeah, even them did a better performance in this one. But there were lots of moments, the shots of them in the woods. There was a lot of things that really worked for me. But goddamn, our main 2 characters were just not really pulling me out of it. What were your surprises?
Some pretty good suspense, man.
Yeah.
There were some pretty good suspenseful moments, and even going into this movie expecting it to be a poor movie, I'm always surprised when a movie can suspend me. Suspend my disbelief.
Suspend me, movie.
The whole house thing she was getting wow, can't even read my own writing. The whole scene when she's getting stalked in the house was surprisingly good.
I liked that.
Her decisions didn't make sense, but I liked the record player. I liked her sitting at the piano playing movement 1 of movement soda. And I liked when she was in
Sorry, what was that?
When the scene when she was in the shower, even it didn't make sense. I liked him standing outside of it. Her performance was whatever.
Yep.
How much of this movie was not necessary?
Yeah.
This could have been a movie and a sequel instead of 3 parts and combined the first and second movies together. And I wish they had done that.
It does feel weird that it has been stretched into 3 movies when it's like this one.
It's the Hobbit effect.
This one could have been condensed. So if this one can be condensed, I imagine the other 2 probably could have been condensed as well.
The Hobbit effect.
Yeah.
Right? He stretched 1 book into 3 movies instead of just embracing the 1 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or just 2. The acting of the guy who shot the repairman, dude, that scene
malfunction
broke me. I have never seen such bad acting. The way he just looks over his shoulder to deliberately not look at the body. Okay, honey, we did it. We can leave now. We shot him. There was only one of Guy.
Yeah,
he did.
That's another thing too. Is hey, I shot one of the 3 people we have
we
seen.
Win, baby.
It's not over after you kill one of them.
Let's go back. Let's move to Portland.
He's just so proud of himself. I don't know.
Remember how I have asthma?
It's
He
not
didn't talk
important.
like that. The dumb ass ending.
Really
we've
stupid.
talked about it.
Just
let's go over
just
scores.
a dumb ending. So yeah, verdict for me. I said I took a note from Derek here. That was watchable. Like we mentioned in the beginning, we never saw the first one, so I don't have any biases to judge this with, as I never saw the original film. And this one delivered a fine thriller for me that I don't regret watching, but I'm not going to really recommend to a lot of people. The strangers themselves were off-putting and spooky, and the premise is enough to make my spine chill because the home invasion thing is like a little too real. That makes it scary enough. But the acting performances were lacking in depth, and the story was dragged out a bit further than it needed to without ever really going anywhere. Like we mentioned, this whole thing could have been condensed, and the ending just kind of like, so that's how it ended. Okay, well, guess that's that. So yeah, so if this movie comes knocking on your door asking for Tamara, you decide if you really want to open that door.
So that was watchable as well. The Strangers Part 1 has so many flaws. It struggles with pacing, acting, scares, and tropes. But at the end of the day, the concept is so strong. Having people break into your house is just scary. It is. It affects everyone. That no matter what, it will make you feel some sort of fear. I hope that chapters 2 and 3 elevate what is currently a dud into something interesting with some lore or world building. But as it stands, you should probably let this movie remain a stranger in your life.
Knock, knock, knock.
Hey, Tamara.
Knock, knock, knock.
Come on in.
Knock,
Count
knock,
Trivia.
knock. It is me. Yes, you invited me in. Now I am in your house. Now I can finally kill the two of you. No, I play.
Oh, man.
I can't knock on a door for real because I have little felt puppet hands.
Aw, I felt that one.
But inside of my felt puppet hands, I have some trivia for you because I am not a stranger. I am your friend, Count Trivia.
I love you so much.
How are we doing?
I'd love to kiss you.
You want to kiss right now? Are we doing this? Oh, Derek, are we really doing this? Oh God, my heart, my.
We're running out of time.
Racing.
Get out of here.
No, Derek,
I love
please,
you.
No.
Go eat Tamara.
Ooh, Tamara. So, trivia time for this one. There was actually, they're all kind of based around the same general idea, but we'll go through these here. Rennie Harlan, the director, simultaneously filmed all three films of this trilogy. The producer explained that the lead star would film scenes for the first film in the morning, so I guess Madeline Petch probably is who they're talking about.
Yeah.
She would film the scenes for the first film in the morning and scenes for the second film in the afternoon.
Oh.
Commuting to many different locations for filming several times a day.
Well, that means that she's in the movie.
Yeah, so
Dang it, that kind of ruins some of my theories.
She's going to be somewhere. But they said scenes in the second one. So I feel like it's not going to be centered around her. She might be like
I hope
maybe
so.
the expert that they turn to, like, oh, I just dealt with these guys. You need to do this, So, but yeah,
We'll
so
see.
that's there. According to Froy Gutierrez, who played Ryan in this movie, filming all three films took place in fall of 2022 over a 52-day shoot.
Oh, shoot.
Which, like, actually, think about 52 days.
That's
to
a
film
long time.
3 movies. That's kind of impressive, honestly.
Yeah?
I don't know. I thought that was kind of impressive. So there have been several news articles before the release of Chapter 1 stating that the director intends to release a supercut of the 3 films spliced and edited together as a single film.
I know that Lord of the Rings is longer and bigger and more grandiose, but put in consideration, the film took 206, all 3 films took 438 days.
Whoa!
Lord of the
Good
Rings was
Lord.
438 days. The Hobbit trilogy was 266. So 52 days?
52?
Not that much.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Lord of the Rings is bigger
Very,
and
very,
better
very,
and
very different.
Very different
Very
scale. But that's the kind
Just
of
put
idea
that
we
in
have.
consideration.
Yeah. But so the director intends to release a supercut of all 3 films, spliced and edited together as one film. If all films of the trilogy are about 90 to 100 minutes long, which is typical of most like slasher or thriller productions, then the supercut will be about 290 to 300 minutes long.
Stop.
Making it potentially one of the longest horror films ever made.
Oh, okay.
And I'm curious about.
That does imply that we probably won't be going back in time at all.
Right. I
Damn
don't
it.
know. See, those kinds of things.
It's
they're
hard
gonna
to
throw
speculate.
away. Yeah, I don't really get it. But
It's fine.
So the film script was originally 280 pages long, based off of notes and ideas that director Rennie Harlan and producer Courtney Solomon juggled between each other. Then they separated the screenplay into 3 parts, which is now planned to be the trilogy of interlocked stories.
Okay.
So again, that's like, it makes me feel like it's kind of like an anthology thing where like maybe these things are not necessarily connected, but they become connected. I don't know.
We'll see.
And then finally, this struck me as interesting. Madeline Petch came up with the creepy scene in the bathroom herself. In an interview with a Hollywood Reporter, she explained, "There's something missing from the beginning of the movie when the beginning of movie 1 when she's alone, and she was like, "Man, every time I have shampoo suds in my eyeballs, I am sure
Hey,
there
it's
is there is a serial killer staring right at me where I can't look." And then we, the producer and I, were like, "Let's put that in the movie."
Let's put that in the movie.
So that scene was added deliberately because she thought it'd be kind of a spooky thing to add into
That's
it.
hilarious.
Yeah, so kind of funny, and I liked the shot. Like, while it didn't make sense for her to be showering when she was spooked, I did like the Scarecrow man standing right behind her.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, so that is The Strangers Chapter 1.
Did you watch it? I
Did
want to
you
know
watch
if you
it?
watched it. Let me know.
Like,
I don't
rate,
know.
and-
Tell me.
Like, rate, and subscribe. Comment. Tell us if you watch it at all. Next week, we are finally getting around to a movie we said
This
we would
one's for you,
watch like a
Brian.
month ago. Hobgoblins from 1988 is our next movie, which I am pretty stoked about. Seems like a pretty direct ripoff of something like Gremlins, and those are always kind of silly to me. Like, we watched, what was it, Ghoulies? That was a similar vein.
Yeah, Ghoulies.
I just like little fucked up creatures. Like, I
Sure do,
love
dude.
them. Goblins, ghouls, hobgoblins.
I mean, how could you not? They're funny.
I'm here for all
They're
of
great.
it. So here's a little brief synopsis on the movie. A young security guard must track down diminutive aliens who kill people even as they make their fantasies come true.
Ooh.
So yeah, catch us next week as we watch Hobgoblins from 1988. Thank you so much for joining us. We can't let you go without a little bit of a Garfield horoscope for this week.
Oh, that's true.
What's in the works for Garfield here this week? Basically, all you need to know is Garfield and Odie are playing a grift on John here. They are gulping and slurping up their dinner so loud and obnoxiously that it sickens John enough that he's like, I don't want my food anymore. And then they high-five each other as like yeah, we did it, man. We got the food.
I would like to be Garfield and Odie in this.
Both
episode,
of them in the
yeah.
situation. Okay, so what's your situation then? What are they doing here?
So they're expert con men.
Okay.
Okay, they are like, let's be as disgusting as possible to
Right.
get him to leave, and we'll get more food.
They're running the grift.
And I think what we can learn from this is don't con people.
Don't con people.
That's it.
It's mean.
This one's pretty surface level. There isn't a lot of depth
No,
to it.
yeah.
Tamara took all the depth when she left, so
That's fair.
what's John
And then
got?
I'll be John in the situation. John is just trying to enjoy his meal, but then he decides maybe I don't need the situation. So maybe know your boundaries this week
That's
or this 2 weeks until know when it is maybe time for you to push that plate away. Maybe this, because let's think, if he's grossed out, he eats his food, he might go and vomit a little bit. Come into Garfield, I threw up. So.
Can you imagine if horoscopes were that surface level? Like, you open up the newspaper. What's my horoscope for today?
Don't con
people. Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Easy. I can manage that one.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so know your boundaries is my Garfield horoscope for this week. So yeah, that's what we wish for you to take away this week.
Pretty good.
Thank you for joining us again. If you choose, please follow us on all of our social medias. We got Instagram at @that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Was Horrible. Thank you, as always, for joining us and letting us sit on our high horse soapboxes and telling you all our weird science facts about strangers. We will catch you in a couple of weeks with Hobgoblins from 1998.
Hobgoblins.
1988.
Yeah, get
in
that
the
right.
meantime,
Garfield be with you. Stay spooky.
Goodbye.